Technical difficulties. That was lame.
Is it good now?
Looks good. I am doing a couple back end stuff, but I think we're live. I mean, we're good on all the channels now. So.
Well, I like that it just switched from my 30-second thing to.
All right, we in here. I think. Going to the channel to check.
Did you have to do a different? Oh, there it is.
All right, we on. Hope everybody made it over.
Oh.
Take 2, yes.
Did it delete the first one?
Oh, well, I did.
Okay.
I mean, I think it might still be up. So you can watch us fumble around on a black screen for 30 minutes. 30 seconds.
I'm going to let people know in the chat.
Oh, I think that's still live. So, yeah, you can let them know. You can drop the link to this one in there.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go.
We're just bumbling our way through this every week. I tell people, hey man, we told people every week that we're surprised that we're able to pull this off. And I don't know if everybody's taking it seriously. That was our first major snafu.
Nope.
But we recovered. We fumbled, but we recovered.
Oh, hey. We're live.
All right. Oh my gosh, we'll give everybody a second here to roll on over from the other one. We had to make a we had to make a whole new stream real quick. I think I did pretty good making that pretty fast. That was only a few minutes.
It was like 5 minutes. It was quick.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's rolling in. Looks like we got the gang's all here pretty much. So
gang's here.
I'm excited for today. We got 2 amazing people in. Everybody's here to see Ricardo and Jeff. And we're gonna be getting into a fun topic that I'm really interested in, that I got to have a little experience diving into with Jeff, but we'll get into all that. We do have to take a minute and let you guys know that Kay is not with us tonight. She sends her best. She had a loss in the family, so Kay will be out for today and probably next week too. So you guys keep her in your thoughts and send up some prayers for her, and her family. And we're staying in touch with her and doing our best to help out where we can. But if you're watching, we love you.
We love you.
And, it's not the same without you. But please.
No, I'm going to try my best to be as good as you. But I will not be doing a fake British accent or Welsh.
Well, we miss Kay, and we know that you guys miss her too. But send her some love, and out there, I saw her poke her head out on social media today, so that's good. And then we have a couple things that we want to mention to you guys. We want everybody to remember that we are switching our time next week. It starts next week to 6 p.m. So we're going to be rolling back an hour. So we'll be starting an hour earlier next week on Tuesday, and that'll be permanent there moving forward. So every week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time instead of 7. So you guys get to see us an hour earlier every week. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Forgetting a couple things.
We got the conference.
Got the conference. We're selling tickets already. Look at that.
Sedona in May.
You guys got to come. Scottsdale was amazing. And
Fun. It was a party.
it was a legit party. And what else? Is there anything else?
Got your book.
Oh yeah, the book. Guys, I've been working on this for like 3 years. And it is finally done. So as of today, it got sent off to the publisher today. Thank you, Sammy. So I'm excited from that. You'll be able to get it on Amazon hopefully by the end of January. So I'm excited to share that with everybody. And yeah, but those tickets, get those tickets. If you guys are somewhere near Sedona, you got to go. And then I think Austin's either for sale right now or it's going to be for sale in like 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. And if you're near Austin, want to see you in Austin. It's my hometown. Come hang out. That conference is going to be huge. We see almost 3,000 people at the venue we got. We'll be at the Moody Theater at ACL Live in Austin. Premier venue.
Yeah, which is like a big deal, right?
It's kind of a big deal. Yeah. It's a big deal on my pocketbook, that's for sure.
Yeah, so y'all got to buy tickets and come make it a success. Bring your friends, bring your family, get your mom into all this stuff.
Bring your mom.
Bring your grandma. Honestly, my grandma would love it. I think my grandma would have a great time.
Bring the whole family. Why not? All right. I'm just deleting all of my past mistakes from when we started.
It never happened.
So that no one can, there's no evidence of the tomfoolery that we were engaged in. I think we covered it all. You know what? I'm ready to get into this topic. I hope everybody else is. This is really exciting stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff with the copper mine stuff and connections between the old world and the new world, Europe and America, copper mining back in the day. And let me let these guys explain it to you because they're going to do better than I ever could. So we're going to introduce Ricardo and Jeff from JeffUpNorth and Ricardo from Institute for Natural Philosophy. There we go. What is up, guys?
Greetings. Thank you very much.
Greetings. Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you guys.
Yeah. Last time we had a conversation, you were in Malta, if I presume, in a
That's
B&B.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That was
2 years almost ago.
2 years ago. Yeah. Oh, Malta is amazing. That was good. I remember that now. I was in a little like side of a cliff house.
Looked like an underground thing.
Yeah, it was. It was like a little cave. It was really cool. So it's been 2 years. I mean, we interact online all the time on social media, but yeah, that was 2 years since we did that interview. And then I saw Jeff. I feel like I see Jeff all the time at this point.
Yeah, I figured we had enough of each other at this point, but nah.
We couldn't get enough.
Never.
Yeah, no.
How have you guys met? Just through the internet, Ricardo, Mike, and Jeff? How do you guys all know each other?
Through Nikki Anna Jones, I believe, right?
We met through Nikki.
Yeah.
Jeff and I met through the Peru tour, which Nikki was a part of. And then Sammy, I'm not supposed to do this, I know, but
it's okay, bring it up.
I couldn't help it. My name is
Jeff.
Noons.
Hey, Noons.
Hi, Noonie.
I saw a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah, Noons is here. Everybody here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? Tell us how you guys got connected, especially around this topic, because that I'm really interested in that.
Go
How
ahead.
you guys were able to.
Yeah. So I remember when Ricardo first released his paper that he was working on, the old world bronze tools and copper from Michigan, the isotopic analysis that they did. He started posting. It was on Twitter, X, and then Mike, I think you shared it to me, and I shared it to you probably at the same time because we had just talked about this when we were up in the Keweenaw when you came up here, and so I kept sharing stuff, and I actually made my first video on YouTube that day with kind of a kick in the butt from reading Ricardo's release, him and Rick Osmond, that they released the paper on. So then we met in person finally a year and a half later at the AAPS conference in Harris, Michigan, up here. That's every October, and it's just kind of grown from there.
And what
Had
did
him on
they
my show one day?
What did they do at the that conference where you guys met?
It's mostly. You want
Go
to
ahead. Go ahead. I
okay.
can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No,
the
yeah,
name.
the Ancient Artifact Preservation Society. It's just people that lived in the UP for the most part and were so interested in the ancient copper mining. They came together and just started meeting every year, and it became a conference. So that's what it is. It's basically ancient copper mining in Michigan and all the different theories and ideas and any findings and stuff that it was created across the Atlantic Ocean to the old world and fueled the Bronze Age.
Before I be crucified, I understand your question was, where do they have the conference? What he said, I knew before they crucify me. No, I just don't remember where the conference was.
That's fair. I mean, it was at a casino in the middle of nowhere.
You guys get some gambling in?
No.
Yeah.
I don't understand what people do at those machines. I really don't.
They just
Lose money.
Yep.
Lose lots of money, generally. So this is a yearly thing. So there's a whole, we were talking a little bit before we came on, and I was kind of getting into, y'all's work. And Ricardo, you said that this has been getting worked on for quite a long time by tons of people. So
Yeah.
there's an ongoing contribution to this, to understanding what's going on here. And just to let the audience know, what we're talking about is copper mining up in Michigan, in these different areas, potentially by Europeans who are coming over here. Is that correct? And mining copper and then taking it back over to Europe?
Or natives harvesting and passing it to them, yes.
Okay.
So one of the two.
Possibly Native Americans mining and then trading. So
As commodity, yes.
So this theory basically changes the time frames around history and rewrites history in effect. Why isn't this explored more? And what is there that's pointing to this being a thing?
Well, this has a major complication that's what's limited the exposure of these ideas for the past 40, 50 years, is the fact that Columbus was the first to reach the Americas. So that alone is the major conditionant so that no academic pays attention to any of this. So that's why when I look into their research, I decided to, instead of focusing myself in the UP area, in the UP Peninsula, that was going literally nowhere because the material wasn't accepted, I decided to start to look into the old world, because there is what they call the copper paradox. So if you see my paper, you see that in the non-conservative, very extrapolative possibility, all of the mines produced 1,100 tons of copper during 3,000 years, from 4,000.
So we know exactly how much is.
We know because of slag heaps, because of the what is left behind from the mining process. The academics calculated all of this, so they gave us all of this data for us to.
So we're working with 11,000 tons being mined in the old world.
Maximum. 1,100 tons maximum. And in the archaeological record, which includes hoards, burials, items found, include also a percentage of material lost. The academics calculate that there exists from this period around 100,000 tons of copper. So how do we go from 1,100 to 100,000, right?
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
While in the UP area, you know that it was extracted about, and this is an average between academics, 500,000 tons of copper. And we're talking about metallic copper, right? Because in the old world, there is no metallic copper. You have to process the ore in order to get the copper in a percentage of 5 to 20% of what you mine to what you get from the copper. In the UP area, what you take from the ground is the copper, 99.9% pure, with traces of silver and so on. But that's
right.
metallic
The copper
copper.
in the UP is like some of the purest copper in the world, straight out of the ground.
Is metallic copper.
It is. Yeah.
Is metallic copper, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
oh, look at that.
Yep. That's just copper. That was out of a mine. Modern one, but yeah.
So from those 500,000 tons, some academics go to the point of 680,000 tons, but I'm keeping it a little bit lower. What we find in North America is 5,000 tons. So there are 495,000 tons of copper missing.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, listen. I've dug into some of this with Jeff.
Mhm.
And I went up there and visited them, and we went around. We looked at some places up there. We did the Keweenaw Wall and everything like that. What if we're looking at these type of discrepancies, why aren't archaeologists looking at this?
Columbus. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's that simple as that.
Jeez.
Because there was no transatlantic traveling before Columbus.
Okay, this sucks because I'm starting to get a little frustrated, not with you, but with a lot of the stuff that we deal with on a regular basis with the academic community. So we're just basically what you're saying is we are stuck on old ways of thinking, with Columbus being the first person to the Americas. We're stuck on old ways of thinking that there was no transoceanic, no travel across the ocean there. The Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So the ocean,
and because of these reasons, we aren't looking at this mountain of literal mountains of evidence available to us that could rewrite history and our understanding of our past.
Yeah, and another argument. Sorry, Ricardo.
Go ahead,
okay.
please.
I was gonna say another argument they like to use as well. It's just all buried under our feet. The copper's all there. We just haven't found all the tools and decorations and stuff like that, which I mean, they had a massive trade network with the copper. I mean, they find it all the way down in all the mountains, like in Cahokia, all over Ohio, Indiana, every Florida. But from, like Ricardo was saying, the stuff that we have found, it amounts to a fraction, maybe a small percentage, if that, of what they mined. Yeah. So
but there is more to this that we can explore. Is that we are only looking at the difference on the copper, but there are other problems, because if you calculate how much wood you need to process into charcoal, not coal or coke, but charcoal, that's what they could produce. If you produce the amount of wood to produce charcoal to then transform ore into copper, they would need about 1,500,000 square kilometers of trees, right? So we can look at the paleo environmental records, we can look at pollens, we can look at sediments, and we know exactly how much wood was burned. We have coal pyres, so we know that if they were actually smelting by some possibility, the 100,000 tons of copper that is found in the archaeological record, if that was being processed in the whole world, there would be no trees. In fact, what paleological studies show is that 90% of the wood was human consumption in daily life, in fire, in heating, in house building, in tools, and only 10% would be reserved for industry. So it would be completely impossible to process. You have to imagine that you need from 55 is 110 pounds to 200 is by 5 to 1,000 pounds of wood, depending the type of wood, to create 1 pound of copper. So you see that to create 1,100 tons of copper is already a challenge, and it's seasonal. They cannot produce it the whole year, right? So how are they processing the copper without destroying the trees? Still having place for agriculture, still having place for food, for housing, for tools, for all of that. None of this can be correlated, right? So, and basically what I have been done on top of, first of all, I have to say that I only got to this thanks to Kees Finnifrock, that introduced me to all of these people. I talked to natives, I talked to people that studying this for 30, 40 years. And Rick Osmond, a genius about this. And what they didn't have is the old world calculations. They know all about America, but they were not so deep into the old world. And that's how I came in and tried to help, is by producing the data that we have from the old world. And the disparity is just enormous. It's just gigantic. They couldn't have done it. The only way they could have done it is by importing metallic copper. But I cannot say in the papers where it came from, because otherwise they don't be looked at. As soon as I say it came from the United States, it's over. No one will continue to read the paper anymore, because I'm implying transatlantic travel before Columbus.
So there's just a refusal to look at this is just blowing my mind. The inability to, you know, what's blowing my mind is where the logjam is here in getting to any kind of extra movement forward with this idea, right? Or acceptance by mainstream academics. Is just simply that we just disagree. They just say that it's impossible that anybody was traveling across the ocean over here and that there was trade, pretty much.
And yet there is thousands of nautical miles of trade routes all around the Mediterranean into Norway. The Carthaginians, Hanno, the Periples of Hanno, who doesn't know this, he in 300 BC went almost into the Horn of Africa. So he can turn all the way the bulge of Africa, continued south, all creating colonies. The naval fleet that he had was so huge that they built more than 10 cities along the way. Some of the cities failed. It took so long exploring that when he came back, the cities that had failed returned to their ships and accompanied them back to Carthage. But the nautical technology was well known. And have you ever heard of the ship Phoenicia? So this is from John Lefgren Research Institute. They funded and they rebuilt a 600 BC boat exactly as they would make it, with the same tools, the same process, all. And they took the ship, and the first thing they did was circumnavigate Africa completely. Right?
That's a picture right there. Yep.
So then the ship is out of water for 10 years, and 10 years after they remember, let's cross the Atlantic. So minor repairs, put it on the water, and they crossed the Atlantic into the United States with no incidents. In fact, they had an incident in the Mediterranean, but they didn't have an incident in the Atlantic. So they proved, and this is what not publicized, they proved that 600 BC it was completely possible to cross the Atlantic with no problems at all, right? With the technology of the time. And that ship is not particularly a big ship for the time. There were ships double that size. So it's just a fact that they don't want to consider any kind of transatlantic crossing before Columbus, because people were stupid, apparently.
Yeah. So I don't think, like, this is quite a string to be pulling on. And I can guess, as we're talking and I'm thinking about it, this string opens up a whole host of issues for modern archaeology and our histories, our accepted history, if we start pulling on this thread. it pushes dates back. It opens up all of history to speculation. It opens up the possibility of things that archaeologists love to rail against, which is, like a worldwide shared culture of certain things, technology.
Diffusion, basically diffusion. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a big deal. So where are we at with, with all the research and everything, and how it's being collected and put together to better kind of inform the public?
So what Jeff was talking about, the first isotopic testing. So this is extremely expensive, all paid by private hands, including the John Lefkin Institution. What they did was they collected artifacts, in this case, what was considered to be bell beaker objects, so from the old world, from a collection, and they were sent to Caltech that take a microsample from it, with following scientific protocols all the way. And then they were sent in a very specific logistic system for this kind of testing that is expensive to transport into Luleå labs, that is the most advanced, or one of the most advanced labs in metallurgy in the world. They test in parts per billion, which the academics have not done yet. They are testing in parts per million, and that lab tests in parts per billion, right? We managed to see results that show that the copper could have come from the UP area. The problem is, and academics jump onto it, saying that where's your provenience and provenance of those pieces? And we couldn't give them. So what is being done now, and this is on the way into be sampled, this group now has pieces with provenance and provenience that are found in the old world that are going to be tested again and see if the copper is from the UP area, which is not that difficult to do. Why? Because the types of ores and the purity that you can get from copper, so that you can only get sulfuric, or help me out, Jeffrey, what's the other one?
I know it's
carbonate ores and sulfidic ores, right? Sulfidic ores go to a maximum of 98.9% at most. The other ones goes up to 99.3, 0.4, sometimes very rarely 0.5. And I found a place, El Wadi, which is the site is known as HLO1, where they found on the furnace, which is mind-blowing, they found on the furnace the piece of copper, and it was 99.6% pure. So they showed that their kilns were advanced. They created a system of tubes that channelize air inside and maintain the temperature. So they were obtaining the maximum possible, that is 99.6% without metallic copper. But if you do it with metallic copper, you get 99.7, 0.8, 0.9, depending on the impurities that you put into the metal. This leads us, for instance, to Otsis X. They try to hide it, but I managed to get from the museum and from the institute that tested the copper for Otsis X, and I managed them to give me the results for the copper, and it's 99.77% pure, which makes it immediately impossible to be from the old world. And they say, oh, but we tested the lead, and the lead is from Tuscany. Yes, it is. The lead is from Tuscany, but not the copper, because this is another problem. We are testing by lead and tin isotopes, but not the copper. You won't find a paper where they're testing the isotopes of the copper. Why? Because they know they might find something they don't want to reveal. In the case of Otsis X, it was intentionally hidden, or I don't say hidden, but it's not spoken. You see, you read the paperwork and it's not there. You have to consult to know what it is, because they know if any result above 99.6% immediately raises the reasonable doubt, it's not from the old world. It has to come from some other place, right? And so to end, because I'm speaking, what I try to do is I try to gather information from the mines, and it shows the results of the purity, and it shows the amount of material that was extracted from the mines. We cannot forget that these people were mining with antler picks. with stone hammers. So it was a very hard work and time-consuming labor, right? It was not something that you can collect 100,000 tons in 3,000 years just because it's 3,000 years. It takes time. You have very rudimentary instruments. And so I looked at the mines, I looked at the paleoecological data, and I look at the wood consumption. And it shows that the copper not only has to be an introduction of 90% of the copper had to be imported into the old world. They needed it in order to maintain forests, in order to maintain the consumption in levels that are sustainable and in accordance to what we find in the environmental record of those times. Otherwise, we'll find catastrophe. We find the decimation of forests everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And as a final point, and then I will let Jeff talk. The most important point of this is to recognize that there are hubs. This is like a secret. This is like a lodge thing. This was a so well-guarded secret, not only how to voyage into the America, but how to process the metal and how to distribute it. There's hubs, and those hubs are exactly where we expect and where our archaeologists say they are. They are in South England, where they had the team to transform the copper into bronze. They are near the vicinity of Santana Park, that if you see, it's like a replica of Atlantis. They had a wall with 42 kilometers that now is the Mediterranean. It goes from one side of the land to the other, right? That's the entrance of that harbor. I have images if you want to share them. And
yeah, that'd be great.
And the third harbor, I'll do that while Jeff is talking. And the third place is Cyprus. And Cyprus is extremely interesting because the name itself means copper. It's Kypros, which means copper. In an island that barely had trees to process the 32 tons that were the outmost from 12 to 32 tons that they produced in copper from their mines, right? And we have then the academics saying, oh, the Uluburum ship, 10 tons of copper, 1 ton of tin coming from Cyprus. Well, it represents 32 years of the whole world production in average. The whole, in one ship. How many ships were crossing the Mediterranean full of copper, right? So a place that academics know only produced 32 tons and work for 3,000 years, less than that, but 2,000 years more or less, has a ship coming from it with 10 tons of copper. Were they accumulating copper for how many years they were accumulating to do it? The whole world would need 7 to 32 years to produce 10 tons, in average, of course. So all of this put together shows us that the copper had to be coming from someplace, and they don't want to look at where did it come from. But the facts and the empirical evidence is there, and they know it. They just can't accept the rest, so they don't follow this thread. And I will shut up for a moment.
Let me ask you this, because this just kind of popped into my head. Could that possibly explain, like, you know, the amount of trees that had to be used for the copper? Could that explain places like in Africa where you've got, we know that it used to be dense vegetation, where there was desert? Could these been areas that were, chopped down and used and deforested for this type of stuff at such a large scale as we're talking? Because this kind of butts up against some of the research that I've been doing on the Band of Holes, and then going over and looking at how they're trying to stop the encroaching of the desert, and with the green wall that they're building over there, whatever they're calling it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, anyways, I don't know. It was just something that popped into my head.
Well, I would say that might have played some part, but I'd consider it is a change in the environment, gradual change on the environment, or caused by some cataclysm that changed the environment and caused that kind of deforestation. Because if you remember, for instance, in the West Fazan, that is the opposite side of what you're talking about, more or less. You have the city of Garmantia, where the Garmants were the major traders of the area. They control it. In fact, the Romans had to destroy them in order to get the trade that they were doing. And their commodity was salt that they were bringing from the Atlas Mountains. So there are some, and I included in the study, there are some North African copper production areas, but they are all in the east area, not in the west. So I don't know. I can't respond. I can answer to you with certainty, but I would say that climate played a major role in that. Yeah.
All right. I'll let you pull up those pictures. I want to see those. Sure. So Jeff, what let me ask you, where did you, I mean, obviously you live up there. This has been a part, some of the stuff you shared with me has, been a part of like your local history up there. But I don't think people realize like how remote it is up there until you go up there. I was really surprised when I came up to visit at just how like out in the middle of nowhere you are. And by the way, when I left, did I tell you this, that my phone stopped working? It broke. So I had to drive back from the UP to Minneapolis with no GPS and just wing it. Which is quite an adventure, and then go to the Mall of America to the Apple store to get my phone replaced. That was a lot of fun, But you guys are so remote, and so this has got to be something that you've been aware of for a long time, because you also just mentioned it so casually to me on the Peru tour, like the last day. We could have been talking about it the whole time.
It's really not talked about a whole lot. Like universally, other than like people that do know about it or the people that live here. Shit, I know a ton of people that I grew up with that have lived in this area their whole lives. They had no idea about the ancient copper mining. Really? They know about the 1850s into the 1990s copper mining, but nothing before that. So, I mean, even in high school, we did Michigan history classes, and we never learned anything like this. But what actually really got me started into this was my dad. He was reading about all the mines, the ancient copper mines, and he gave me some books, and I started reading on that. And he's just the one that kind of always talked about it and wanted to go check out some stuff. And then when you came up and we went to the Keweenaw Wall, just being out there exploring and doing stuff. I mean, I've lived up here my whole life. I've never actually done anything like that. I go out and look at these sites. I'm like, oh yeah, I know about that, but I've never gone there. And it just kind of sparked it in me to want to go out and find more stuff. And then just talk about this stuff and tell people that aren't aware of it, even just to open the door for them. It's pretty interesting. It's fun.
So how many sites have you been out there checking out and visiting? Because you've been going around and you found the Phoenician petroglyph. Yep.
That's up in Copper Harbor area, but we're not telling any location on that one because people already tried to destroy it once. So
isn't that messed up? I can't believe people do that. But you did find it. We went looking for it when I was up there, but or a little where we were going to try. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a long ways away from where we were, quite a ways yet. But but I know how to get it right there now. So whenever whenever you ever make your way back up here again, we'll definitely go there.
Well, I'd like to come up. I'd love to hear more about the conference that they do every year. And if you guys are going again in 26, that'd be fun. What time of the year do they do that?
It's the first weekend in October.
It's already up, I think. If you look for AAPS Copper, it should have the date of the next one.
Can you guys, one of you guys drop the link in chat?
Sure. Can you do it, Jeff?
Yeah, I got it. So it's always the first weekend right there. Yep. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
I could potentially maybe do that. That's busy. We have the conference in Austin.
I was going to say, I know it was close to that.
17th, 18th, and 19th. I think that I'm right on the dates, so it's doable.
Are you going to put it in the group chat, Jeff?
I just put it in the private so you could share it on yours.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I can say there is lots of knowledge and wisdom there, and they have no new blood. And these people are getting older and older, right? And there's no record of their information for posterity. So it's really sad that some, in fact, already people from the group already died, and without ever seeing their work recognized. Because this.
How many people are showing up to this conference every year?
100, 200, perhaps, Jeff, around that number.
I'd say, it's 75 to 100. And like you were saying,
bring that back up.
People are aging out, and I was the youngest one there by probably 30 years until like Ricardo was with Chris Feinfrock and some of those other guys. But
is there a price on here?
You might have to. Should be there somewhere. Oh, you got to go to the shop, I think, up top.
Yeah, it's in the
very top of the page. Uh-oh. Your cart's empty.
Yeah, fill that card up.
I know. Gotta get some tickets.
So, top left corner.
one,
What do you think? Top left corner, I think. Is that?
There it is.
Yeah, it's 200. That's all I wanted to say it, but I was not sure. Yeah.
So 3-day conference. Where is it again?
It's at the Island Resort Casino in Harris, Michigan. The next largest town is a few miles away is Escanaba. That has an airport and everything for anyone that might be coming across this country from anywhere else.
We should pump this up and get a bunch of people out there.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
It would be. Actually, there was a couple at the conference that came up to me and said that I was the reason they even knew about the conference and they came for it. So yeah, that was kind of neat.
3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to speak? You guys should be speaking there.
No, Ricardo spoke last year.
Did you?
Yeah. This year.
It was this year. It's still this year.
Get Jeff up.
I did the presentation of this paper. They invite me there because of the paper. So.
Oh yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go this year. So that's October, the beginning of October. I gotta go do this. This sounds like a lot of fun. Is there snow on the ground by then up there?
There can be, but
we were lucky. Very good weather.
Okay, so I might have to come up before then. Yeah, man. Sorry, I was looking at the comments.
I saw it too.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I'd probably have to come up sooner if we want to adventure around, but then that'd be cool if people wanted to come up there and check that out. Be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And then everybody could head down to Austin. We'll just make it a whole month of hanging out with everybody. All right, chat. So that's the mission this year, is that we're all going to do these conferences together, just one after the other. Just the whole big crew hanging out and rolling from city to city all over the place, getting into ancient history. No, I'd actually really like to come up there and see you guys and be a part of that. This is really fascinating stuff. So tell me more about how you guys have you guys looked at doing some kind of project together? Because I see a real synergy here between your research, Ricardo, and your boots on the ground up there in the UP, Jeff. I mean, you guys could really be dropping some fire content as far as some investigative or expose type videos with all this. People really need to know about all this as much as possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we really haven't done anything. Go ahead, Ricardo.
No, just saying that although you can put boots on ground, this is not like monuments. This is not things that are easy to find. What you find is small holes in the ground or a few mines that are a little bit deeper. But you have to imagine that the pieces of copper that you find in the UP, one of them was 28 tons.
Wow. Wait, Jeff, you told me about that.
Yeah, there's one that I actually got a picture in front of up in Houghton, Michigan. It's absolutely huge. I'll find a picture of that. It's my profile picture.
In fact,
that's X.
That's the reason why the AAPS was formed, because they want to save that piece of copper, that 28-ton slab of copper, right? Because this was two fellows that bought a mine, and they were with the metal detectors, and one turns, so they are several feet away from one another, and say, "Hey, I found something," and No, I found something, and they were both on top of the same slab of copper, so they both found the same thing. But they didn't keep it, but they managed to preserve it. So it went to a metallurgical expo in China, and then there someone bought it, and it's on a private collection in a museum, but from private hands.
China?
In China, yeah.
Dude, what the?
Picture of that piece of copper.
No one wanted to preserve it in the Americas, so it was almost $300,000 to keep it. So,
Whoa.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yep. And that's actually just one of actually there's a couple more that they have found that I don't think they're even here anymore. I know the Ontonagon boulder was a few tons, 6 tons maybe. And that's supposed to be on display in the Smithsonian.
All right. How many tons is that one?
This one?
The 20.
Ricardo,
was this the one you were talking about?
Yeah, no. The 28 tons is the one that is to China. I've been there too. I can't remember if it is 8 or 12 tons, is something around that number.
Yeah. Either way, though.
But the thing is, you get more, even if it's a small one, like a ton or 2 tons, is more than some mines managed to extract in 3,000 years in the
Jeff,
old world.
do you know what the value on something like that is today?
Oh.
Well, how many pennies could you make from it?
Yeah. Well, it costs about 3 cents to make a penny.
It costs 3 cents to make a cent.
We're in debt now.
Yeah. We lost before it even began. Let's see here. December. So copper right now for a metric ton is about $13,000
per ton. Yeah.
Yep. So about $12,500 per ton. So yeah, be a good chunk of change there.
Yeah, I'll say $4.
So you can imagine that if in remote times someone came to the America and saw what the indigenous speak, there was walls of copper exposed by the separation of land. There was these walls of copper exposed, right? So when copper exploded in the new world, in the old world, there was still these memories. Oh, I know where that is in abundance, and we can go get indebted. There's no mining. You just lump it off the floor.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit of water and fire, and it cracks right out of the rock. You find veins where this was taken from the surface of the rock that goes for 100 yards. They were just taking it off directly from the rock, and it's 99.9% pure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so what happened also too is when the glaciers, the last lake glaciation, the Wisconsinian, it pushed all this copper out of the bedrock. A lot of the copper just blasted out of the bedrock and just implanted it all over the Midwest. It's been falling as far as South Indiana, and that's float copper. And that's the original copper that the ancient miners will call them, even back then, use. It was just sitting on the ground, just chunks like this. See, it's a little like smoothed out compared to that other one I had. It was torn from the rock by the glaciers and deposited. And you could find.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't even know what that. I could walk right over that and not even know what that is.
Right.
Yeah, same.
And it doesn't require heat. You hammer it at cold and produce whatever item you want because it's pure metal. You don't need to put it into a furnace. That's just hammer it into position.
I did that once or twice with a rock. Made some.
So, Jeff, are there still just pieces that you find up there like that?
Oh, everywhere. Yeah,
I want to hammer something out of some copper.
I made these with
so cool, man.
2 rocks. I don't recommend it. It hurts.
Try a hammer.
Yeah, Ricardo's giving me hell one day. He's like, there's this beautiful thing.
You need like a mallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, there's this beautiful metal called iron, and you put it on a stick and you make a hammer. Yeah.
Dude, I look. I knew that this was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that this was a really interesting topic, and has been something that I've been interested in, since before you and I met, Jeff, and then, but especially over this last year, and this last year has just been so busy, I haven't been able to dive into it like I wanted. But after just sitting down with both of you here in this brief amount of time, in less than an hour, the importance of this topic here is astronomically astronomically larger than I understood before. This is a thread that can be pulled on and provide real evidence. Like, this is something that could be and can be, and sounds like is being proven, that is that kind of missing link, so to speak, that connects and changes our understanding of our past, that we've all been saying within this community. We are looking at all of the circumstantial evidence and all the different things and connecting the dots. This is a real piece that could unlock, a whole host of other things by proving this one thing.
It changes history. It literally changes history.
Yeah,
fascinating.
Yeah, and another issue with trying to find anything, because there are, like Ricardo mentioned earlier, there's no monuments. A lot of it's underground. Is all of the mines that were sunk in the ground in the 1800s beyond, they sank into ancient mine pits they found. So that's when they started doing that. So everything in the area between the mining and the logging is either flattened. Anything that was copper, whether it was out of the ground or if it was a tool, they threw it in the smelter and melted it. They didn't care. It was just came out of the ground, goes in the smelter, melt it, send it off to Cleveland or wherever. So, and that's why it's so hard to find a lot of stuff, especially where I am. I mean, it's just trees and woods. And if you don't have a good day between the 2 weeks in the springtime and 2 weeks in the fall time to get out and look in any areas that's usually thicker, it's a pain in the ass, for lack of better words.
You got that metal detector?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I actually just got an underwater metal detector for Christmas too.
Really?
Santa came in clutch. Yeah. So
now you only need a drone to go underwater too. I saw one a few days ago.
Oh, that'd be fun up there.
Yeah.
Do you want to get these photos up and go through them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got them.
There's a few, Sammy.
I know. Well, I wanted to throw this up too because that made sense for what you said.
So this is the Don Anna's Park after Cadiz. So what the archaeologists found is, you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is a wall that goes from here to here underwater.
Really?
And there's a slight entrance here to this port.
Where is this?
This is Don Anna's Park in Spain.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, but is the circular islands there, is that real?
Yes, it's a LiDAR image colorized by an AI system that would put the vegetation on top of it. But this is a LiDAR image.
This isn't speculation. This exists
in the world. This is in the academic paper. I took this photograph. This is from an academic paper, the ones that did the study on this.
Well, why is nobody talking about that?
Probably because every time people speak about it, say Atlantis.
Yeah.
Oh, you're some ancient aliens, dude, aren't you? So what if I am?
Where is this?
Don Anna Park, Spain.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, I want to pull this up.
DONNA ANA and then Park.
I was just going to ask, is that that Atlantis documentary they're going to show or they did show at Cosmic Summit, or is that something different?
Oh,
I wasn't there, so I have no idea.
How deep is the water there where the wall is?
I don't know, but it was done by scuba diving, so it can't be that.
Okay.
It
so
was
it's
not robots.
It
was not
fly
robots.
a drone over and pick up.
Yeah. This is what I talked to you about, the Pericles of Anno.
Yeah.
They came all the way here.
Yeah.
By the way, here was where they found, according to the chronicles, Sasquatch-like island creatures.
Yeah.
They took a female with them, but the female was too ferocious and they had to kill her. So the only thing that was placed in Carthage on the temple was the skin. And it was there until the skin deteriorated and the temple was destroyed by the Romans. This is what shows that it's completely possible to
Yeah.
go to the Americas and come back just by the Yamok current. So this is exactly what Columbus did and how the ships turned back. This is the isotopic study that was done. That unfortunately the results that are written here for the X were wrong. It's not 99.3, it's 99.77, and I was lucky to find it, so we could change that. And I wanted to find one that shows both of the productions. If I can find it, it's probably on the other way. So basically the sides of my presentation. Oh, there it is. So Upper Peninsula, extracted, minimum of 100,000 tons, maximum of 500,000 tons, found in the artifact record, a minimum of 1,000 to a maximum of 5,000 tons. So where is the rest of the copper? And when you look at the old world, you have 240 to 1,100 tons extracted, and we have a minimum of 10,000 to 100,000 tons in the archaeological record. So it's just put two and two together.
Yeah.
So, because if you look, that's I have here the summary of all of the mines put together. Summary. So if when I go, first of all, you have here the purity that is obtainable, right? That I was talking about, right? So look, the whole Balkans between this period produced 26 to 66 tons only. The United Kingdom, that is considered to be that huge hub that was distributing copper and bronze all over the place, only produced from 15 to 57 tons in copper, right? And the purity never exceeded 99.4. Ireland produced 6 to 20, below 90% because it's sulfidic ores. France, 5 to 20 tons. Spain, 24 to 79. Italy, 12 to 45. Switzerland, 0.5 to 2. Cyprus, that is the what you're talking about. There is a ship with 10 tons coming from Cyprus, and it only produced 11 to 35 tons. Right, and the copper that is in the ship is of high purity, superior to 99.7%. The copper from Cyprus, 98.8 top. So Greece only 11 tons, Turkey 36 tons top, Egypt 45, Israel 40. So you sum all of this, and how do you have an old world copper age without copper?
Yeah.
So the question that these people from the AAPS conference have been asking is, where did the copper go? And the question that I'm making is, where did the copper came from? Right. So this is the Uluburum ship, by the way, where it was found.
Yeah, it's found off of Turkey. Okay, yeah.
These are the oxide ingots, how they transported the copper in the ships, because this helped the ship. This was the keel of the ship, basically. This was made how it was placed in these ancient ships. It was the cargo that created the keel for the ships to travel. So in here you have the case study of the Uluburum ship. So 10 tons in 354 ingots, that equals to 0.06 to 0.28 tons a year produced, which results in 32 to 142 years equivalent of the old world copper production overall.
So what's the when these things are brought up to academics, what is the explanation for this?
They don't want to touch it.
So they want to address the discrepancies.
Yeah, they don't want to touch it. They immediately say, "Oh, we tested it. It's from Cyprus." We tested the lead, or we tested the tin. It's from Cyprus. But they don't test the copper. So it all came from here, all this area. And I don't know if I probably have to stop sharing. I don't know if
No, wait. Go back and will you bring up Atlantis?
Okay, just a second. Atlantis. Let me go back just a second. Share.
Okay, so this is the park. Yeah. Where I was trying to like figure out where your map was compared to this, and it looks so different. Where
Window. Wait a second. And I have to share the entire screen because I'm lost now. Share.
Zoom in on that one spot there, Sammy. The bay.
Where is it?
Is that all the way? Are you all those way zoomed in?
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's some.
So it's here. If you look at the map that I have now, people can't see it, but you can.
Oh, I see the.
It's here.
Okay, so it's not in a river; it's a little inlet.
It's a river inlet into the Mediterranean. Yes.
So we have to find that. Okay, because if I can see that,
You won't see this in a map. This is a LiDAR. This is
uh-huh.
a radar image from satellites.
okay.
This is all underground, underwater now. All of you see here doesn't exist above the water.
Got it.
Only this bits here are still above the water, but everything that is here, no.
Mhm.
I feel like I have to go to there.
Yeah. We're gonna
got it
add
next week.
this to the list of places we have to scuba dive.
Did they say how big the diameter of the whole area was, or the radius?
We had to go to the paper. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I
It looks like a good chunk
It's,
of the
it's,
area.
it's enormous. It's enormous. But,
So guys,
but in the map, considering the scale, it's very small. It's very hard to find because it's a very narrow piece of the map.
yeah.
So I don't know if you, let me see if I can share screen window.
Yeah, we'll go over there. I'll film. Jeff, you've got to bring Ricardo, you're our guide. I'll come over there. Sammy will film.
I also have a metal detector though.
Everybody, Jeff and Sammy, y'all
we're bringing all the metal detectors.
We're good to go.
I love this. This is just
That'd be
slowly
fun.
going to turn into like a treasure hunting channel.
Well, I mean,
It's basically what.
part of what I do.
Yeah.
Just don't find a whole lot.
I'm not sure if you can see my screen, but I used to think that the UK islands were the highest concentration of ancient monuments on one place until I started adding to the Google Earth. And I realized that this area is the most convoluted area in the globe. Forgive me. Because every single point of this is a mound, is a site. It's just without
Did you
end.
share it? You didn't
Yeah.
share
Do you
anything?
want me to share you some? Do you want me to share something that's on your? Because I think you just have.
I think it's on the screen, no? It's a
I
Google
think you
Earth.
just have the stream
Let me see.
as your.
I stopped sharing and I'll do it
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
Sammy, do you still know how to do a poll?
Yeah.
Let's put up a poll and see what everybody thinks about Ricardo and Jeff doing a collab together, because we had a bunch of comments in there. Let's see what they say. Let's see what chat says about getting everybody involved together on something like this, making something big. I'd love to be a part of it too. I want to come up this year and stuff, but maybe you guys would all like to collab on some kind of video together.
Sure.
Let's see what
Absolutely.
chat says. We had
What are
some
we
good,
asking? Do we want to see a collab content?
yeah. So guys, tell me, there's another thing that I'm a little interested in it is the connection with the Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians would be one of those that were transporting the copper from one side to the other, but they are not the first, but probably the last to be doing it and control that market. There would be, according to these people that are much more versed than I am in this aspect, they can recite names, dates, journals that you go and look for this information. One of the studies that I did in their request is to look into the work of Peter de Roo. And Peter de Roo was contracted, it was hired to go into the Vatican, look into some papers, well, unrelated topic. But he was fascinated because he found these reports of these 3 priests and a bishop that when, by the time of the Moors' invasion into Iberia, decided instead of fleeing north, they decided to go into a ship, and they end up in America. So you have all of this report there, how they got there, what they did there, the voyage back, and all of this is kept in the Vatican. Like these reports, there are endless more from Ireland, from help me out, Jeff, what's the name of the Spanish that are there for almost 70,000 years, 7,000 years? What's their name? The Basque.
Oh yeah, I would have come up with that one.
The Basque would go fishing all the way almost into the Americas. So it's just a stretch to get to the other side. And there is lots of accumulated things that point to the Americas being visited again and again and again in the last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 years. Right? So there's no lack of it. The Chinese. Then you have these problems with cocaine and nicotine in Egyptian mummies. How? Yeah. It's a South American thing. Then you have the corn being represented in India, at least, according to academics, at least 300 years before the traveling was possible for the corn to get to India. And they appear in statues. They are holding it, the corn. So it was already a tradition. How did it get there? So there are languages found in artifacts in the United States that are from languages that are already dead in the old world. Jeff saw a lot of them. He even has images. But all of this is considered to be pseudoscience and hoax, and it's all dismissed because of manifested destiny, because the Americans had to be a savage, uncivilized, uncultured, unreligious people so they could be helped by the civilized ones that arrived here and did all that. Right? But we don't show highly evolved places like Calcutta or Poverty Point or so many other complexes that are similar in every aspect of what we find in South America. Right? Different here and there, but the same dimensions. These are huge complexes, right? And most of it was completely obliterated, destroyed by construction. You have mounds. When they were producing the first roads in the 1900s, they almost purposely go in places where they could cut the effigy mound, or they could dig out the mound and make it disappear. All of this was highly, because they couldn't find any signs of civilization, right? Even through the forefathers of America, they had these people going to these places in order to hide this kind of evidence. And this is all documented, and it's not hidden, just people don't know about it.
Yep.
Who goes to the library and starts to look for these records, right? Yeah. So this was intentional. They can't have any culture because they have to be the first here. They have to be the ones to Christianize them, to give them culture, to give them education. When they had all that, they were superior people, for sure, no doubt.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I was going to say, when you were talking about the founding fathers, I know Jefferson actually made it a point to go and dig a bunch of the mounds out. He was a big driving factor to document what they found in the mounds. But right there. So, and like I said, even up here, especially across Wisconsin, there's still thousands of mounds in Wisconsin, but most of them are gone because it's all farmland. They just flatten them out. If it was in a field, it's like, well, I can grow corn there.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Well, if you see the image that I'm sharing, you see how many of them there are just in the UP area. The density is just unbelievable. And this is probably 10% of what there was.
Yeah. No.
Man,
Like,
this is,
actually,
it's such a cool thing to dig into. The implications are just massive and all over the place. So it's just like you could just stay on this one topic and just be about so many different things with our history. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's one of those. I feel like I've just been like sitting here absorbing it because it's one of those things that's just so niche that, yeah, you would have no idea that this is even a thing without guys like you bringing it up and bringing it into the conversation.
Yeah.
And just the implications of it, and yeah, the amount of implications, the amount of things that it means is so interesting.
So you can imagine the frustration of people that are writing about this, writing books, documents, papers, surveys. Jim Shears has surveyed for 30 years all these mounds, all these ancient sites. He's probably he's the Randall Carlson exponentially heightened in this kind of matters of mound building, orientation lines, hill-to-hill communication systems, because he surveyed all this. He is an actual academic professor. He was a professor in the university, right? And so he had this brilliant idea. Instead of going and teach students how to measure parking lots, that is usually what a teacher does to teach surveying, he took them to survey mounds. So he got to a new generation interested into these subjects. Unfortunately, not much picked up after because they all have to work. But he has a huge collection of gigantic material that I've seen myself. I was lucky enough to do it, to be in his office, of box after box after box of all of this documentation with alignments, with geometric, with the golden ratio included, all of this in these ancient sites that I know for a fact that archaeologists go to some of these sites and say, I can find now, this is just the glacier pushing the rocks out and created all this geometry. There's nothing to see here. So this is all connected to the copper. All of this aspect of suppression of American ancient history is all connected to this. So all of this is suppressed.
Seems like it.
Yeah, and this is making me wonder if there were, we know that, like you just talking about, that both of you, things like mounds and different stuff. I mean, we know we're destroyed intentionally and have been. There's thousands, if not, there's tens of thousands of, if not more than that, mound sites here in the Americas. And there were full-blown cities here. And the way that we're raised here is to think that this was just this wild open land of hunter-gatherers and nomads type people, groups of people living around here. But there were cities here in the Americas, and it makes me wonder if there were other things here that were repurposed, destroyed, knocked down because of this the type of trade at this level happening. There would have had to have been permanent settlements here to facilitate that type of trade, and ports. And
it was seasonal. They couldn't do it in winter. So they only had about 6 to 8 months, including the voyage. Like they could depart sooner to get right on time, and so on and so forth. But yes, it was a constant movement of material, and the rivers and the lakes were the highways. Not by land, it was the rivers and the lakes. Right?
And also what's interesting, like Ricardo said, it was seasonal. So they've never found, as far as I'm aware, any bodies or any long-term shelters or inhabitants up here at all. And with the lakes and rivers being their trade routes and highways, on Isle Royal, which is the largest island in Lake Superior, just north of the Keweenaw Peninsula, I think almost 5,000 mine pits on that island. 10,000 on there. And these go from, like, they call them potholes. They're just smaller holes all the way up to like 30 to 50 foot wide pits that go down, some of them 60 feet deep into bedrock. But just to travel on Lake Superior is treacherous in itself. I mean, even like steamers and ships and stuff that are on the oceans say that the Great Lakes and Lake Superior is more treacherous than just going on the ocean. So imagine a small boat or something 8,000 years ago on the most dangerous body of water in the entire United States just to get your copper from one spot to another. So that proves something in itself, I think.
Well, you have, for instance, people working on this, like Bob Kuprick that Jeff also met at the conference. He was the filmmaker for Ford, for the real Ford guy. And he uses skills to do. He uses a boat with sonar and equipment, and they dive and so on to find. They are looking for some piece of copper in the bottom of the lake, some sunken boats. They have to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they finally find something interesting, they find that, and to make it short, he explained all this in detail. The safeguard, the Coast Guard, or the whatever it's called in the lake, they secure these areas where they know these ships are, especially because they might be old world ships, because you used to take the big ships all the way up because the rivers were different back then. And so they cover it with nets and then put scrambles on top of them. So each time they come there to try and put the rovers on the water and to dive and to find the location, everything goes haywire because they put scrambles on top of these boats. They covered with nets and then put a scramble on top of it, and you can't find it anymore. In fact, he was aborted 2 times by the patrol ship saying, you can't be in here. Go do research elsewhere.
Yeah. What up, Luke?
Hey, Luke.
In chat, definitely tons and tons of land highways. Actually, DeSoto saw them.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.
This is a huge area of research with many ramifications. But it's all connected to the fact that there couldn't be a civilization here to be respected.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you guys. This is like, I was so into this before, and it's just still. I mean, I've said it a couple times now already. It's blowing my mind the level of, how far-reaching this is. Have we thought about? So we know, that we know Europe is short on the amount of copper that exists in Europe and what they produced.
What they traded.
And then it still seems like there's a bunch of leftover. Have we looked at other parts of the world like Asia for copper discrepancies like we are seeing here in Europe? Have we looked in Africa and places as well to extend the trade out potentially?
I haven't looked, but I'm sure that considering that there are some good signs that China was one of the first countries to go to South America and North America, because they have, most people don't know, but the reason why the Portuguese managed to reach India was because when they landed on the east coast of Africa, each time they stopped, people had these myths from about 100 to 200 years before of the treasure ships. And the treasure ships were a huge Chinese fleet. That is the second time they produce it. The first one is almost 1000 BC, and the second one is just before the discoveries. And so this was huge ships. Imagine a ship as big as the cruise ship, the biggest cruise ship you can imagine now. They were that big, right? Then they have another ship that was about 10 times the size of a caravel, and then they have the caravels to assist those ships. So the caravels that the Portuguese took there were the smaller boats that they used, right? And what they did, they called treasure ships because each time they reached land, they offered gold, silver, pearls to the people, because the emperor was trying to connect with everybody, right? But then there was a collapse, the empire ended, and the boat stopped. So when the Portuguese arrived, they thought, oh, my grandfather was right. There were these people coming to the shore in these ships and giving, well, the Portuguese gave chickens and cloths, and they were a bit disappointed. But they still pointed, no, keep going north. keep going. They were friendly to them. They helped them in their journey, and that's how they reached China. Otherwise, they might never reach it because the people might be hostile to them. They were just thinking that they were this old tradition of the Chinese treasure ships coming in and giving them gifts, and they received them well because of that. Of course, the Portuguese are not proud of it and don't mention many times, but it's an historical fact. That's why they did it. So the Chinese were crossing the oceans way before any European was thinking of it in these terms. So,
and we don't stop and think about that. I've often talked about how, like insular, the way that we're taught things here in America is just like everything is from this perspective of America, not world. Right. So you look at things, or I'll just speak for myself, the way that, I kind of came up in school was this is almost like history stops at the border with Mexico. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's like this limiter in your thought process of things being distinct from each other as far as like, Mexican history and American history, but these lines didn't exist, right? Back then, like, and so you have to do this mental process of like removing all of that as you're exploring history and connecting the dots and stuff like that. And then you start getting into even more fascinating stuff like you just shared there with other cultures coming over to the Americas and different things. And there's tons of stuff that I see people share all the time about Chinese culture being in the Americas, in North America, and there being petroglyphs and all sorts of different stuff that can be traced back over to China. And you start putting all these little pieces together. Wow. The thing that's so fascinating about everything that we're talking about tonight is that it's like I said earlier, is that it does feel like a thread you could pull on that would unravel everything, where you have real actionable data that can be put together and put out there that can potentially at some point not be argued with. All you need is which that's the problem, right? Is you need the academics to look at it for it to be accepted.
Well, they don't accept even the indigenous tradition, because if they go and ask this and that tribe from that area, they'll say, oh, when we got here, yeah, there was a white man here, or there was a red hair man here when we arrived here, right? Because we come from other part of the country. They're not saying they are crossing the strait to get to the Americas. I'm just saying long after that, when they expanded territory, they found here and there, they found white communities. Where did they came from? They came from Europe. Because how hard it is to put a boat on water when the season is right. Follow the coast. Let's imagine they are dimwits and they cannot determine longitude and latitude, right? They go around the coast. How hard it is to get to the Americas. If they are hunter-gatherers already, they just leave off, hunt, eat, continue, stop, continue. They will not go by land if you have a fleet of canoes or bigger ships. You just do it. There is no obstruction to do that. It's just the imagination of these people that stops the thing that we reach to the shore and our intelligence disappeared.
Do you have someone? Is this accurate? Do you have someone that you're working with to look at your work?
Oh yes, it's his name is Jeffrey Lewis. He's being very kind, but he's going to use my paper to show his students how to create a peer review. So I'm going to be heavily criticized because I didn't make it as a peer review paper, right? But at least I think he doesn't agree with me, but he's being very fair. And I'm expecting that he give me his annotations because he hasn't have yet, but he didn't have time to do that. So I'm quite eager to see what he's going to point. My first paper was seen by an academic, and I got some reviews on it. And I can tell you some of them. I didn't write double space lining.
You did what?
I didn't make double space lining.
It was all grammar. And
I didn't have an abstract.
Format.
Dude, get the fuck out of here.
He created 2 pages on his blog a first one, and then I answered him and telling this is the fact, this is the paper, this is the reference, this is that, and he created another page saying exactly again the same thing. It's not formatted for academic review.
So he didn't even touch the contents. He stopped at the format.
He read it, but he didn't give any reviews on the data because he can't. Because the way I'm trying to make my papers is, if you want to contradict me, you have to go and talk to the 30, 40, or 100 people that wrote those papers where I took the data from that are peer-reviewed papers. I'm not inventing any data. I'm going to you guys. I'm lucky enough that you did the job so that I can put the papers together and extract the information. So if you have anything,
look, and to be honest with you, as an academic, the way that you're doing that is amazing, because I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because basically, if there's anything in there that he reviews and says is accurate, then he's basically going against his
peers,
right? Which we all know how they treat each other if you step out of line. So,
that's why the old world, the ancient minds of the old world, has 100 references, 100 papers quoted.
Is this publicly available?
Yes. On
can you show or bring that up, and drop a link in the chat here for people to take a look at? I think people would love to see this.
I put it in the chat. Just a second.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wanted to kind of rewind a little bit, if that's all right.
Yeah, please.
Back to when we were talking about like other places in the world that we haven't looked for like copper trade even. But I know that South America, like even in Peru and all the Andes Mountains, they had their own Bronze Age. And they were making tools and axe heads and stuff like that. It's almost like identical way that they were doing it in Bronze Age in Europe and the old copper culture in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. And this was actually brought up to me at the AAPS conference by a gentleman that I met there. And he's just a hobbyist into this stuff, just like we are. And he's telling me, he's like, so there's this place that's called Michoacan in Mexico.
Michoacan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, what if that's actually connected to Michigan? No, Michoacan, Michigan. That's actually the first place that copper metallurgy started in Mexico. Was there. Granted, it was a lot later, but still, it's kind of odd. There's a bit of a connection. It sounds the same. Yeah. Michoacan, I think it means place of the fishermen or something like that. And then Michigan, which is Ojibwe, Michigama or Michigami, for place between two waters or place of great water. Yeah. I mean, they're both related to water. They both have the first origins of copper culture in their areas, both spelled 3/4 or halfway the same. I don't know. You got to talk to him one day and have a sit down with him and get more into it.
Michoacan. I've never would have even considered that. And there's so many names that you don't think about.
Oh, if you hear Aztlan, what do you think of?
Mm-hmm.
You think of South America.
Yep.
But Aztlan is not in South America. It's way in North America, in this area.
It's in Wisconsin.
And it was a huge, with a city of pyramids, flat top pyramids and mounds and effigies, enormous area. And it's in this area up there. It's called Aztlan.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Sammy, can you bring up the research paper on screen?
Yep.
Let people take a look. I think people would really like that. So we dropped the link in chat so you guys can go and look for yourself. And so, Ricardo, this is your research paper that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I think you can download it if you're not a member of academia, but you can view it directly on academia if you just create an account.
So I love this because I was going to ask, like, if I could have, like, 5 bullet points of this research. So if I were to, like, go talk to somebody about this as, like, an entry level, synopsis, this right here, I think, did that for me.
Oh, perfect.
That's cool.
Well, I'm now placing an abstract, and beneath the abstract, I'm placing inlay terms. So I give the whole page explaining the whole paper without the the people have to go and look at the numbers and this and that. So they have a page where it's explained in lay terms so that everybody can understand. Not that I'm more intelligent. I'm just saying that some terms might be complicated or difficult to reading. So
yeah, on that note, I want to share. I was saving this for later, but it's relevant now. Rubate, hello, what up, brother? I want to
Hi,
see a
bro.
full,
Good to see ya.
concise presentation by both Jeff and Ricardo in one video. The main points and conclusions, a one-stop shop I can point to when people ask me what it's about. And I absolutely agree. I think that is really needed. It's like a very well done video that lays this out and explains all of this in a really, Jeff, we had talked before. I was planning on doing a full video on this, but this is, last year after coming up and meeting you in person in the UP. But, I think people would, love to see you guys do something together like this and put something that's very simple and easy to understand for people with the references for it's like an introductory video to explain all of this and why it's so important. It's very simple for people who are just getting exposed to this, which would be key to growing the awareness around this topic, because this is incredibly important in my opinion. Great work, by the way.
It has lots
Amazing.
of slides, charts to make it easy to see every point, every value. Forgive me.
Yeah, no, Ricardo's been putting in the work on these papers. Just the information that he's had to even get the access to and read through to see it, all this stuff. It's unbelievable. I've gone over this paper multiple times. I've referenced it a lot too. So again, thank you for that, Ricardo.
No, my privilege.
Amazing. Yeah, guys, go check this out. We linked this in the chat, so you guys can go look. And like Ricardo said, just make an account and you can download it. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it can be downloaded. Yeah,
you can have it yourself, look over it and check it out.
If someone can't by any, because it happens. Even for instance, this gentleman, the academic Jeffrey Lewis, he couldn't download it for some reason. So I have a Google Drive file. Just talk to me on X and I'll send the Google Drive file with the papers, and it's no problem.
Awesome. What else? What are we missing here that are major points? We had the article up there, but I didn't read over the 5 key points. What are those 5 key points that kind of help people understand this there at the beginning of your research paper?
I can't tell you because they are created by the AI of Academia Edu. I don't know. It was the first time that I saw them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sammi, can you still read it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably against me. Let's see.
You want me to bring it back up?
That's their AI review.
Yeah.
I can't read it if you can.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to read the 5 key takeaways?
Yeah, please.
1, Old World copper production 5500 to 1000 BCE falls significantly short of artifact quantities, indicating a structural deficit. I'm gonna butcher this. Uluburun.
Yeah.
The Uluburun shipwreck contained around 10 tons of copper, exceeding known Old World mining outputs. Number 3, regional surveys show copper mines yielding hundreds of tons, yet artifact evidence suggests thousands are unaccounted for. 4, the imbalance suggests undiscovered mines or transoceanic copper trade, linking the old and new worlds. And last, future research should focus on isotopic analysis and quantification of mining outputs across both hemispheres.
Yeah, it's pretty
Do we
accurate.
feel like that's fair?
Yeah, it's
Ricardo?
very fair. Yeah, it's fair and accurate.
Good job, AI.
Good job, AI. Good job, AI review and takeaways.
It's kind of your job. You should be.
So on that page of the institute, you'll find papers related to the transatlantic crossing. You have papers about the paleoecological impact. You have paper about the fuel efficiency and types of woods and what it translates in terms of results for the production of the copper. And you have this one with the mines of the old world. So all them put together creates, I don't know, 150 pages or something like that. Something that I have to do one day, but just don't have the time.
Well, you seem uniquely suited to doing this type of work, brother, because this is not me. So, you know, one of the things that has always been really important to me is, and I went over I really pressed this at the conference, was community and the importance of community. This is why it's so important, is because we all bring different strengths to the table. And if we have a community where we're, you know, building each other up and supporting each other in our works, you know, we're able to champion each other when we do amazing things like this, which is incredible. I can't wait to read over that. I mean, we have people in the comments already that are downloading all this. I've been popping up a few of them on screen if you've been able to see. But yeah, people are already going and downloading this document. This is great. It needs to get out there. I think people need to be aware of this topic. What have we missed, guys? Has there been something, Jeff? Has there been anything that we've kind of missed here that you've been in the back of your head that you've been wanting to share?
Just, I don't know. I'm trying to find. I did make a video on it, the Egypt connection, I called it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because when we were at the Grand Egyptian Museum, I found the copper and bronze artifacts and tools and stuff, and mainly knife blades, and there was a lot of them that looked extremely similar to what we've found in America. And that could go, maybe there was contact between the Native Americans in America and whoever named the Egyptians, or maybe the Phoenicians were, because there's stories of the what is it, that Keftu, the red-skinned people that would travel with the Phoenicians and bring copper. There's paintings on the tomb of Rekhmir the second or something like that, and it shows them carrying copper ingots on their shoulders, and their skin is colored red. Where do you find the red man? You know, North America, bringing copper. So,
dude, no kidding. Which,
yeah,
by the way,
very little about it anywhere.
We were in the museum, and Jeff came over and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, dude, you got to come look at this." Brought me over to a display there and showed me where they were the spearheads. Is that right?
Yeah, there was one that's it's like a sword. It was like 2 feet long, and I looked at it, I was like, holy shit. Sorry for lack of better words, but that looks exactly like a copper sword that they found in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And I got a picture of them side by side here with the guy that found it, or one of the guys that found it. And the picture on the right I shared here was at the Grand Egyptian Museum. You're able to pull it up?
You got to pull it up.
Yeah, I just shared it here.
Okay, perfect.
So the one on the right was the one on the bottom right. That was in the museum. The picture doesn't do it justice. How it's about 2 feet long. And then this one was found on the shores of Lake Superior, made of copper. And there are a bunch of other blades, fish hooks, little, almost like a paring knife, all made out of copper or bronze, and then pounded into copper. Almost the same shapes and designs.
So now we're connecting. You guys are connecting.
Copper connects everything.
It does. It's literally, I mean, it is.
You guys are making connections between the European copper mining and the Bronze Age to North America, but now you're making connections with Egypt that seem plausible and worth pursuing these ideas. What do you I thought we were just going to come on here and shoot the shit. You guys are blowing my mind for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and all it took is for the museum to allow a tiny, tiny, tiny hole on that blade. Right? A few milligrams sent to Lulia lab, where they test 71 isotopes per parts per billion, right? And we see exactly where that copper came from.
Yep. I think someone needs to go through there and pick and choose different ones. Say, hey, take a little tiny chunk out of each one of these, because
the only thing they'll do is, if there is lead or tin in that copper, they will say, oh, this is where it came from because we did isotopic testing for lead or for timber.
But if they find
for timber,
right.
for tin. So,
and like we talked about the other night, Ricardo, what you mentioned to me, that they found arsenic in copper that wasn't smelted, that is almost automatic, or not arsenic.
no, it's mercury.
Mercury. I got it mixed up. That's
Mercury
immediately
Mercury doesn't exist in copper, but in the areas of the UP. And that is because when it was created, so mercury evaporates around 500 centigrade. So when the metal is being produced naturally in the earth, it exceeds by far that temperature, and the mercury evaporates and disappears from the copper. But it's by some magical event in that area of the UP, the pressure was so great when the copper was being produced that the mercury was retained within the copper. So when they sanded the copper, the nugget, the UP nugget, along with the artifacts to the Lully lab, they mailed back, "We found mercury in your copper. We never seen that. Where did you get this?" And they explained, "Well, you are the experts. It's a well-known geological fact that the copper from here retains the mercury." So if anything wasn't smelted in the old world that we find that wasn't smelted or put into a mold, it was just hammered or worked, and we find a sign of mercury in that, that's like impossible to dismiss. There's no other place. It's the only place in the world it could come from. Right? So it's
Okay.
like a singularity that cannot be denied.
Let's operate under the assumption that all this is accurate, right? There's old world trading with North America. It's responsible for the Bronze Age. There's connections with Egypt and everything like that. What are we looking at as far as our dates? Like, what are they, how far in our past are we looking here for people to kind of understand and grasp this? If all of this, we connect the dots and we get the museums to give us samples and we're able to test them, if we get the academics to look at the papers really seriously and we're able to prove all these things, what are we talking about here? How does this rewrite history?
From 5500 to 1000 BC would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
When
5500 to 1000 BC would be the ideal.
Yeah,
but you have to understand that the copper was being mined in the UP probably 9,000 9,000 BC was already being mined there in slow amounts because there's copper everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, the float copper was, like I said, you just kick it up on the shores of Lake Superior in the sand or the rocks.
You look at the rock and there's this shiny copper thing.
Right? Literal, like you said, like literal walls of copper that just ran.
Walls
on the bottom
of copper.
On Lake Superior, there's still some sticking because when it was melted underground, the pressure would just ooze up the lake wall. It's a big ridge.
So, it just oozes up through cracks in the surface, and then it dries, it hardens, and you've got these giant walls of copper that they just come up and they cut chunks off of.
You just put fire and cold water, and the rock cracks, and you take the copper out, and it's done. Yep.
And in the bottom of some of these pits, they found just huge, like 5-6 ton chunks of copper that was extracted out of the ground. This is like 30 feet into a pit, and it was raised up like 4 to 5 feet on logs. So they found a way to extract it out of the rock, lift it up out of these logs, and then what they do is they'd hammer all the sharp chunks and any protruding chunks around it. And these were almost hammered smooth all the way around until they couldn't get any more copper off it with the primitive tools they had. I mean, just being able to raise it up like that, though.
So
imagine at the bottom of the pit.
Imagine that it's 3000 BC, right? And you have this expedition that just came from the United States, right? And it's just beginning. It's growing, this need for copper. We know that our mines doesn't have enough. We know that our forests couldn't possibly produce the amount that we also need to export, right? So the first thing you want to do is, I have the ships. I'm going to control this. I'm not going to tell anyone. The indigenous, and Jeff listened to this from firsthand, some of the people that were going there to collect the copper, the ships only came at night so that the indigenous didn't see the ships.
Mm-hmm. And according to, I can't remember where I read it or saw it from, is the Phoenicians would do their trading, like people like the Phoenicians or some other Mediterranean, would like you said, under the cover of night, drop off whatever on the shore, come back
Complete
in the morning,
secrecy.
the next day.
Complete secrecy. So they are bringing the copper to his hubs, and the world is thinking, where these people get this copper from? It's good product. There's mines there, must be amazing, right? And in fact, they are importing 90% of the material, right, that require less fuel to process. They can just hammer that and start and sending. In fact, they were so efficient. I was just sent a paper today by someone that I didn't know. It's from October of this year. They found in Northern Europe a piece like this of copper. It's on my X. I just published it today or yesterday. This a round piece of copper like this that has it's not copper. It's a polymetal. So in that area of Donana that I showed you, they were so efficient by the end of, because this is right on the end of the Copper Age, the Bronze Age, and beginning of the Iron Age. They're already mixing all the elements necessary to make the top quality bronze or whatever alloy they call it at that point. It's a kind of evolved bronze. It's already mixed on the plate. You just receive the plate, you put it into the furnace, you heat it up, you shape it to the shape that you want, and it's done. You don't need to do any alloying, you don't need to add anything. The three components, the tin, the I can't remember the other ones because it's names of minerals that I can't remember. It's 3 or 4 elements that this compound has.
Yeah.
But they put it all together there in that region of Iberia, and we're sending it to the far north of Europe. Like Sweden and Austria, they found lots and lots of these pieces. They didn't know where they came from. They tested the tin, and they found out that the tin came from this area of the Park of Donana, from like a circle of 100 kilometers, 60 miles or something around it. So they were super efficient on doing this. By 1000 BC, they were doing this like, to them, it was a complete industry process. They knew exactly how much to put and how much time in the fire, how much long, what's needed to be the fire. They had all prepared.
Wow.
Now, could you almost say that amalgamation of all the metal that could almost be like the fabled orichalcum from Atlantis? Here we go.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's a different thing. That's
Okay.
older because
Okay,
that's actually orichalcum.
Mhm.
That's not copper.
Okay, I was reading up on it a little bit, and it said it was
Yeah.
mostly copper, unless it was just AI generated.
It
slot.
might have some copper, but it's a mixture of precious metals to create
Okay.
that. It's kind of mystical. Probably is the same thing that the Egyptians called the electrum. That is supposed the metal that they put on top of the needles or top of some pyramids. The top block was covered in that material, and they call it electrum for some reason. That's how the Egyptologist translates the name. But it's a mixture of this, of copper, gold, and silver, that they created the top and put it on it.
So what's next, as far as, in y'all's opinion, as far as advancing this forward? What are the next steps? What are the next things that need to get done? What do we have to break into the gym and grab an artifact and test it? What do we got to do? We were just there.
$10,000 to $20,000 for the testing. That's
How
what
much?
we need. $10,000 to $20,000 for the testing.
So are there people that are interested in this that are helping fund things? And then is there a way that people, if they want to help?
I've been trying to insist that people should get involved in that.
Yeah.
Maybe we get to that, but so far they are putting the money themselves.
Okay, so what $10,000-$20,000 gets us what and does what?
It tests about 10 pieces.
Okay.
Because Caltech is super expensive. That treatment of taking the sample, how it has to be processed, secured, and then the shipping is also very expensive because it has to be in this very strict conditions to be accepted. And then the Lulia labs obviously also charge for each testing, right? So all of that amounts in 1,000, 1,500 for each piece that has to be tested. They are going to test. Yeah, they are going to test 5 or 6 now.
Okay. And is it a range of like pieces from different areas, or where
yeah,
do you have the pieces already?
Yes, they already secured the pieces. Yes.
So the pieces are in place that need to be tested.
They are just waiting for the full money to go in, to be sent to Caltech, for the Caltech to take the samples and return them to the point of origin, and then be treated and shipped to Sweden, to Luleå Labs, and then we'll get the results.
How long does that usually take?
Oh, I think we'll have results in about 3 months, more or less.
We got to talk off camera here, figure something out. And I think that there should be some kind of fundraiser where, unless you have something set up that people can contribute to already, I'd love to put that on screen.
No, I don't, because that's not. I'm a small fish amongst these people.
Yeah, let's make this happen. Let's figure this out, because I think there's enough people out there to donate a couple bucks. And if enough of us got together, we might be able to, produce some real world results here. I think the first step is making that video and raising awareness, just laying something out very simply in a way that people can get behind, not just get behind, but understand.
Sure.
You put that out, and then you move towards maybe doing the GoFundMe with the follow-up video on the results from the findings from after sending things to the lab. But I think people could really get behind this once they understand the implications here. Now you've got a solid foundation, and it sounds not only that, but you've got an army of people that have been working on this for a long time.
Yeah.
Behind you.
They're getting old. They're getting very old, unfortunately.
And information, and to back up research and different things like that. So look, we can talk about the video stuff, and I'd love to do that. I think the first step that I would love to do is that's a great idea, Rebecca, is join you guys this year at the conference. Are you going to be going back, Ricardo? I know you're going to be there.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd like to encourage people to go to that conference. What I'll do is Sammy, will you set that link aside so that I can add it to the description in the video? So we'll add that into the video description so people can check that conference out. And I think that'd be people who are interested
in
the
academic papers too.
Academics, okay. I think that'd be a really good place for people to come together and maybe get some, kind of like you said, Ricardo, some new blood into this, and excitement, and really get this pumped up. And who knows what might come from that as far as doing some crowdfunding or something and getting these lab results done.
They're opening a museum, I hope.
I was going to mention that,
go ahead, Jeff. Explain that. It's your area.
Yeah, that's true. So in Baraga, Michigan, which is right basically smack dab, just on the very bottom of the Keweenaw Peninsula where we went up that day. They're opening a copper culture museum. So it's going to start off with like the 8 to 10,000 years ago, or even billions of years ago, if you want to get into the volcanic activity that created the geological features of the UP and the copper and all that. But it's going to tell the story, the copper story. So they're going to actually make a museum, and part of it's going to be the Ojibwe culture, and their tribe up there is going to have their own section. The original museum that's there now is going to have its own section still. And then the copper culture museum is going to have the stuff with the stories of the Phoenicians coming across and the transatlantic trade all the way across the Americas and stuff like that.
Tell them what academics decided to do in relation to that.
Oh, they're trying to tear it apart. Actually, there was one of the other young guys that was at the conference with me. I thought, oh man, finally someone else here that's around my age that's interested in this. I knew some of his family members. We got along great. And then a few days later, he's posting pictures on the fraudulent archaeology pages and on Facebook.
Really?
And
we had
this stuff they're trying to push. Yeah. These guys, just so you guys know, they're trying to push this this fake pseudo Atlantis bro
letters
museum
everywhere, trying to stop the museum from being constructed. It's an offense to the indigenous peoples. It's racist. It's this. It's that.
But the tribe literally signed off. They've been a part of the meetings and the whole process the whole way. The Baraga Band of Ojibwe. So,
I meant to put this one up.
There you go.
This guy, this individual, he was always cordial with me, and I exchanged some words with him.
Okay.
He created how many pages? Is 300 pages or what? Something like that.
I don't know.
He created a paper just to turn the AAPS association down.
Oh, you're talking about the I thought you were talking about the guy who pulled up in the comment there. I'm like, wait, what?
A huge paper.
It was his thesis at Michigan Technological University. That was his senior graduating like archaeology thesis. He wrote that, and then I was reading through it, and one of the first names he's like, I'd like to thank so and so. I'm like, that's a son of a bitch that I was talking to at the conference. I thought he was into this stuff. Oh, it pissed me off when I found out about that. I said, you can't trust anyone in this world.
No, now he's got Jeff on it, so I wouldn't want to piss Jeff. Jeff's a big boy. I wouldn't want to piss Jeff off. Dude, you got guns like my guns are as big as my legs, bro.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I do have to get special permits to fly on planes. So.
Man, this is great. This is really great. Look, I love seeing like pathways to things, and it looks like there's one here for advancing this forward. And I'd really love to encourage anybody, especially if you're up there in the Michigan area, to go to that conference in October. After you go to Sedona, and then you come to Austin. So just make it a whole thing. But no, if you're up in that area, I really think people should come. I hope that you're out there again, Ricardo and Jeff. I imagine you'll be there. I mean, what a heck of a deal. 3 days for $200.
Yeah. And
you get to learn about all of this. And then I think let's go to the poll real quick and see what everybody decided on the doing a collaboration between you guys, getting the video out or something here. What did we end up with, Sammy?
Well, the 3 options were obviously. Okay, question. Do we want to see collab content, y'all? Number 1, obviously. 2, no, I'm boring. I know I kind of tricked y'all into not choosing that one. But 4%, a couple people did choose the no, I'm boring option. Obviously, they lost. The last question was yes, but metal detector content is required. And the winning one was obviously at 61%.
Total 96% yes. People want to see this.
Correct, yes. But 36% want to make sure that metal detector content is included.
I love metal detecting, even if I don't find anything. But when you do find something that's like
Jeff, go 1 month's leave just with your metal detector. Go into this. No,
it's not like I have an expensive one either. It's just kind of I find some stuff. I found one ancient copper artifact so far in a place I never expected to.
Do you have that there with you?
I do. I brushed lots of show and tell today, Mike.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like a miniature version of what you were showing earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's
so cool.
That's all just made by pounding copper with the stones. And at some point, I assume it would have had a sharper edge, but
it's like a dinner knife.
Yeah. And this brings a very important point that is one of the things that academics like to bring in to diminish the gap between the production and the artifacts found. They say, oh, recycling. There was lots of recycling.
From that to that.
Yeah. What they are forgetting is... What they are forgetting is each time you recycle a piece, you lose a little bit of copper.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are recycling it until there is no copper, which means that instead of 100,000 tons, we should have 300,000 tons because most of the copper disappeared while they're doing the recycling.
That's a great point.
So it can't be used to say that diminish the gap because it enlarges the gap because it doesn't produce any new copper. It only takes copper from existence because each time you recycle, you lose a little bit of it until there's nothing left. You start with a sword, you keep using it, and then you have a big knife, and then you have a small knife, and then you have nothing. You end up with a needle, right?
Then you end up with a little spear point.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. A little nail picker.
So recycling doesn't solve it.
They're sitting there,
a little nail cleaner.
They make fish hooks, copper fish hooks that are just as durable and as good as modern day fish hooks, probably better.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you guys think that it's going to take for the academic community to kind of accept that things are, as this is just another example of something that is just like getting pushed back, right? Like older and older, and just the story, the timeline is kind of changing. And do you think it's going to be just, an inch at a time? Like they're just going to have to relinquish a little bit at a time? Or do you think that there's going to be some big, explosive finding that comes out? Or because it's not like I feel like if one thing comes out, it's not just going to be the shift. Like it's this whole culture of theirs that's going to have to change, right?
It's been moving an inch forward and 5 inch backward for the last 40 years. So
Yeah.
what is required, and I think that's why I'm doing it, and I think that's the only way we can move this forward, is presenting the evidence in a way that they cannot deny that there is a gap, there is something wrong with the data. One doesn't fit with the other. So that's why I'm in my paper, in the old worlds, I do mention the transatlantic trade, but in the other ones, by many advice and so on, including by academics, I'm just saying it has to be imported for somewhere, metallic copper. Obviously, everybody knows that there is only metallic copper in the UP. They found a little bit of it in Ukraine, but it's irrelevant for what we are talking about. It's from the UP, so I don't say where it comes from. That's a problem for you to solve. I'm just saying that your data leads to the fact that 90% of the copper had to be coming from somewhere. You decide from where, right? But because if you pointing that is forcing them to look at the problem, because they don't, what academics, this, everybody knows this. Academics are narrowed on their field.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put them down, because I'm glad that they are, because that's where I take my data from. But it's our job then to grab this paper, that paper, from this field, from that field, and start putting all that information together and really manage to construct a 3D set instead of just a plain surface that is bland. We can actually construct something by adding different fields and all the data that they collected on this subject, right? Because the individual that is looking at the mines is not looking at the paleo-environmental record. He's not looking at how is the copper or the ores produced, what's the level of purity, what's the level of slag for each piece of different type of ore that is being produced, right? Because you have to imagine that they had hundreds of thousands of slag. The problem is only 5% of that is copper, at the best. So that's why they can calculate how much was extracted and how much of the ore that was extracted, how much of it is copper. Because they know exactly from the methods that they used at that time, the fuel that they used at that time, the technology that they had, how much copper could we produce, how pure was it. We can confirm it by the artifacts that are found. So all of this brought together is what they don't do. And by bringing it together, I expect that they are forced to say, okay, there's really a problem here, right? So what's the solution? And the solution is what we'll have to face. That is, it has to come from the other side of the Atlantic. There's no other way. You'll have to accept it eventually. For how much you want to deny it, you'll have to accept it. So the path has to be this one. It has to be into their world and not pushing them into our world. We have to go into their world and pull the evidence that they created and present for us.
That makes sense.
But we can't play in our world and raise awareness. So that
of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is 90% of it. Because if people are aware of it, they cannot deny it. The problem is most people don't know about this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Let's change that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think that's what y'all are doing and doing it really well, and like being, very strategic about it, clearly, because there are obviously some people, obviously, like that guy that infiltrated the conference, and like there's obviously these actors that are very intentionally trying to create a divide. And I just think the way to go about it all is to just, ignore that and keep doing the work and keep focusing on community and the science and doing, the actual connecting of all the dots, and the more we let those people just play in that realm, then that's what they're going to spend their energy doing.
I
And
assure
it's
you that they are
making
watching
them
it.
look bad. Yeah, 100. We know they do.
Yeah, we know. We had
Yeah.
we had Dibble watching our episode with Graham, and then posting the next
The wall
day.
of fame, the wall
Yeah.
of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I pop in there almost daily just to see what they're spewing.
He came in here in a burner account, stirring up a bunch of drama in the comments. We had to kick him out. I know it was him because of his post the next day. It was so on brand. Yeah, man. Can you imagine expending your energy like that instead of just doing the work?
Yeah.
It's odd to me that that side
Yeah,
is
it's
so
really, really weird. It's like,
it's
you guys,
weird.
it's weird.
It's
Like, y'all
weird.
are being
Script.
weird. It's not normal. Like,
No, I mean that's yeah.
it's
And
strange.
even yeah, I see a lot of people saying stuff. I do hell, even people in some of my comments. I'm just like, oh well, you know, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna tear you
Yeah,
apart,
really.
post your picture up
Yeah.
everywhere, and say everyone go attack this person or what an idiot, what a fraud. These guys are nothing. No.
Well, I have
Yeah.
a saying that is the easiest way to learn something is to speak to someone you disagree with.
Right.
Because if you're talking to someone that agrees with you, you don't learn nothing. We're both in the same boat. But
I was just having that conversation with somebody the other day. It was like, yeah, I want to talk to people with different opinions. I want to learn and grow, and I don't want to be in an echo chamber where I'm getting the same ideas back at me all the time. Yeah, but it's very weird behavior. It's very weird behavior the way, you know, to that level.
And we've gotten some people in our chats that are, you know, obviously just very dismissive and like, oh, is this like one of those pseudo archaeology communities, or like, what are we doing here? And it's like, you know, you can have those beliefs and think that what this is pseudo whatever, but if you come in and with an energy of like, well, let's hear them out, I might not agree with, for whatever biased reason, that, you know, if they really thought about it, they'd realize is just an engineered thought. It's not even their own. Because if they took the moment to actually just be open-minded and listen to what, you know, people in this community have to say, then I think they'd very quickly learn that there's so much to it. Maybe like even at the very base level, creativity, like, and inspiration, and then everything up from there. You know what I'm saying?
go to the inventions that changed the world and see the percentage that was done by academics.
Right.
That's a good point.
Or just any discovery.
Inventions or discoveries, exactly.
That's a great point. I do want to address this. We're dropping links in the for the conference and just stuff like that in the video description here. Did we already do that, or we'll do it after? And let's
put them in the chat, but yeah, we'll put them in the caption.
Yeah, let's jump over to the super chats and see what kind of questions and stuff we got going on. You guys ready for that?
Sure, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
So let's do this one first. Question: what about the transfer of power from Spain and France and the history during then? Any French, Spanish, Mexican archives? What was found in North America before it was America? Just a curious aside documentation.
Well, this is much later than the time that we are talking about, right? But you have to think, where did the maps came from? The maps were much older than we are given. They have maps that are, for instance, the Piri Reis map was based on maps that were 500, 600, 1,000 years older than that. The very author of the map puts notes on the map saying that he collected fractions of other maps. The problem is, you have to understand that there is a high level of secrecy of whoever controlled these trade routes, because they want to keep the monopoly of the trade. Right? The same way, much later on, when the Vikings starting to go north and found this animal called a narwhal. A narwhal has this enormous tooth, and they were selling it higher than gold. Some estimates say that 10, 15 times per pound higher than gold as a unicorn. Why? Because they were the only ones that knew where it was in Europe. So they collected and could lie to people. Oh, it's a unicorn horn. And they were selling it over the courts of Europe as a unicorn horn because they had the secret where it came from. When the secret was dismissed and people start seeing these animals, right, or some report came from explorers and so on, it lost the value because, it was a hoax. There is no unicorns. But it was then. You were believing then that there were.
Right.
So here is the same thing. The French, the Spanish, and you cannot forget the Portuguese, because the Portuguese are the head of these Masonic orders that control all of this thing. You not forget that Portugal is the only country created by the Templars for the Templars. The very name Porto Calis means Portugal means for you Grail. Right, so that's how it translates in the actual paper that created Portugal. This is like what you see today in 007 is nothing compared to what was the ancient times in terms of these coalitions and secrets and trading routes. It was wholly highly controlled. In fact, the Crusades were a result of they losing the Silk Road. They needed to find a way to cross and get there from. They tried by sea and they were trying by land. They needed a way to get to the Indies to get the trade reestablished because of the conflicts that we're having, and the Silk Road was closed. So I don't know how else, but Jeffrey, go ahead. Jeff, go ahead and
I was just gonna say, you're talking about the narwhal horn and saying we're the only ones that know about it. It's just like, where'd you get that copper? Cyprus.
Yes, Cyprus.
That's all I got on that.
A country that produced 32 tons maximum in 3,000 years is shipping 10 tons at a time in boats. 10 tons at a time. So after 3 boats, 1 boat every 1,000 years. Okay, that's what we got. 1 boat every 1,000 years.
Thank you, word of mouth guy.
Thank you so much. And then we got a little shout from Craig, just because y'all rock, but I answered his question about Kay there. We've got some other things that we started. I know someone in the chat made that point too, that like the secrecy of it, why would they advertise that? And archaeos don't take that into consideration, it seems, which is really, it's a really interesting topic point of this whole topic, I think. That it like overlaps with everything that you just said was so cool. Also, I was thinking this too, and this is one of those things that I think is a common question.
It is correct.
Yeah,
didn't the
Vikings
later
already
than the
have
Phoenicians or the others? But yes, they did the same.
Yeah, but they didn't. Did they land in more like
Newfoundland,
Central America? Right?
They could enter America from the coast, but they are the only ones to be proven by academic paper that they were in the Americas before Columbus. It's the only one they will respect because it has been proven. I think it's Newfoundland. Is that it, Jeff?
I think so, yeah.
So because they found actually a settlement of them there.
Lansau Meadows is what it is. Lansau Meadows is where it is.
Didn't Will do a bunch of search about this?
Lando Meadows?
Lansau Meadows.
Lasso Meadows. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, we're on the same page.
Thanks, Craig's Loves Pyramids for the for that.
This is a good suggestion. I suggest that the Institute for Natural Philosophy create a research center with Jeff as the director.
I like that idea.
You are in the right place. Look, I spent 2 weeks going about Michigan, guided by Chris. And it's unbelievable, the things that we can see there. It's an area full of things to see from ancient times. So If you're American, you don't need to go anywhere. Just
Yeah.
look around you. You'll find
So
lots of
much.
things. Yeah.
Just go in your backyard.
Oh,
Go in your
you gotta
backyard.
mention your things.
Yeah.
Another word of mouth guy. My
Word of
super
mouth
chat
guy.
was a bit late. That comment was more geared to artifacts and mounds. Oh, you talking Mason's controlling the world. That's my shiz. Yeah, I was trying to remember what point of the conversation you posted that at. The question before artifacts and mounds.
It's not only the Templars and the Masons and all of these sects. The indigenous peoples themselves, they have exactly the same organization. They have lodges. They have their own secret societies. And this might sound outlandish, but it's true. So, and I am only speaking it out loud because people higher than me have been in podcasts and they spoke it. So if they spoke it, I now can say it. So.
No, I agree with him. That's my shit too. I know way more about secret societies than I do about copper history. Another one, Rue. Thank you, Rue. Just do the documentary, make it happen. Priority 1. Happy New Year's, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Happy New Year's.
Amazing.
And thank you, pagan Christian mathematician. Wonderful shows this year. Thank you. Happy New Year to all. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this has been a good year of good conversations. It all just happened like 12 weeks ago, huh?
You guys just way to come in here and just blow everyone's mind tonight.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I know infinitely. Oh yeah, thank you so much for the memberships. This has been really cool. The memberships have been growing on the channel, which is awesome to see.
That's very good.
All right.
Awesome. I like that.
It's awesome to see you grow, Michael, because I know how much time you have put into this, all you've given, all your footage, all your work, and it looked like it didn't took off. It's just steady, slow growing, but I think that now you're going really exploding, and I think you deserve it completely because you've done awesome work for what, a decade or two? I don't know.
A decade almost. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I love that we've had a connection for as long as we've had, supporting each other and stuff, even if it was just in a
moral basis, but
chat group, right? Yeah. So, thank you so much. And like I was saying a minute ago, you guys really just come on here and I look, man, I know that you've been about it. I've always known that you've been about it. We've sat down and talked, and we've had conversations about stuff where we've gone into depth on things, but I had no idea that the level of work that you've been putting into this. And I am that it's just it's so important. And it's so important, and this type of stuff, watching this overflow onto guys like Jeff and Jeff getting involved. I mean, Jeff, you're such a good representation of just starting, getting out there and doing it, like being motivated about it, getting involved, going on a tour, getting into the conferences, connecting with people, and just getting going. And you guys came at this show tonight. You guys have just really blown my mind with all of this. Like I said before, I knew about the copper mining, and I knew about these various connections, but I didn't understand to the level of what I do now.
The implications.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is really important. I mean, this could be the most important thing that I've ever looked at in terms of really making these connections that we've all been chasing after and looking at for shared history between cultures around the world, and pushing dates back and rewriting history. This is a big one. this could be the biggest one, in my opinion, because it's attainable.
Yeah. You have to grasp that 6,000 years ago, there was already people going all about. We're already one planet.
Yeah.
There is trade of everything going from one side to the other. You have potatoes, you have cocaine, you have nicotine, you have mice, you have rice.
Yeah.
So everything was going everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. Sammy, I'm going to let you say that name. I'm going to get it wrong.
Skinkwando?
Looks good to me. Kind of
Yeah,
like
that's-
that.
you
Yeah,
nailed
okay.
it,
I
I
see what
think.
you did
Yeah.
there.
I would have messed that up. Thank you
I think it's going over my head.
thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm writing a book on this
sure.
with Ojibwe references, cross-referencing ship logs. Would love to link up and cross-reference. I also know where Pyramid Mound is in the UP. I live in Michigan, so y'all should link up.
I took Mike to one mound that I'm aware of
Yeah,
when he
we
was
did.
up here. It's not mentioned anywhere. It's not even mentioned even in like potential mounds. So I did a little bit on that. I gotta get a new drone so I can get some flying around it when there's snow and no
Yeah.
leaves. It looks so much cooler in the wintertime.
If
But
Skinkwando wanted to connect with you guys, what's the best thing? Twitter, Instagram?
yeah, if you have Twitter, reach me on there, or
Yeah, on X.
even my email. Yeah, on X, Twitter,
X.
whatever. My
Yeah.
email is just jeffupnorth906@gmail.com. If you ever want to send if you can send an email even. So,
Okay, that's the email. Because today I was just like, I don't know which one.
You
of
had like
these
2 or
to
3
write
of
on.
mine. Yeah, I
just sent
know.
all of them. I
No,
sent
I
it
just
to
had-
every one of your email addresses.
I got them all. No, all this stuff. No, I just
Even
Jeff
if
Up North
even if you want help to publish a book, we have a very good connection with a new publisher. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
cool.
There you go.
AN Publishing, and they have a huge. The prices are completely different from everywhere else, and they support the author and find ways if they can't make this or that. So and the printer that they are using is way cheaper than what I have seen. So I'm about to change from Amazon to them too, because they had a long time of preparation, but they're about to come out with it.
Doing things the traditional. I just spent 3 years doing this book, or 2.5 doing the book that I just finished. It is it's a lot of work. So yeah, if you've got an easier way to do it, yeah, hook up with Ricardo and connect with Jeff if you're in the same area. That'd be pretty cool.
Mhm.
Well, that's not mine, but I can lead you to the
Link it
person,
up.
to the owner of the company,
Yeah.
and he sort it out directly.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been amazing. You know, I'd love to see how the rest of this year, or not this year, but 2026 goes. We're still in 2025.
Mhm.
One more day.
One more day.
And
Oh my God.
and I'd love to if you know, as you guys keep working on this stuff,
Yeah.
as you guys keep moving forward, I'd love to have you guys back on at some point to go over any kind of new findings or things or new work that you guys are doing. And I'd love to help out if we get to a point of where we could do some fundraising to get those samples tested. I'd count me in for helping with that.
Maybe they will be watching this, so maybe that changed their mind.
Yeah.
Let's
Great.
hope so. I've been proposing that for some time now.
Awesome.
They just spend a lot of money cutting the Phoenicia boats that you saw.
Yeah.
They cut it like a puzzle, and so it fits in two 20-foot containers. It can be transported all over the world to do expositions, to be a stage of a spectacle, or so it's another thing that this all involves, that they're trying to show the copper, but they are also trying to show that the boat that actually made the voyage, to show that it was possible, that you don't find anywhere. And it's a world record, and you don't find it mentioned. People talk about Thor Idenhall with his reed boats. It's excellent, but he didn't finish a single journey. He did prove that it was possible, but he never finished the journey. He always had some problem. The Phoenicia is the only one that started and finished the 2 voyages with 10 years interval. They pick up the ship from land, put it on water, and sail again to the United States. And they did the journey from the Mediterranean, supported by ambassadors of the North Africa regions, recognized, homage, and so on. And you reach to America, and there's nothing, or any country doesn't recognize what they've done. Nothing. Yeah.
So wild.
Here, actually, speaking on that, I'm gonna drop a link to the Phoenician Ship Museum in Iowa, where the Phoenicia is being taken apart right now.
Yeah.
It's got
It's
the whole
already
story.
it's already completely taken apart.
Yep.
In
Yeah,
Michigan,
so-
they're doing this right now.
Iowa.
Yeah. Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yep. So this tells the whole story and all that stuff of the ship and all that. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's cool. Iowa.
Yeah. I hope that either in January or February, I'm going to introduce, I'm going to have on our show, we're going to talk to Boyd Tuttle, but it was one of the persons that was on the voyage.
remember meeting him, yeah.
And he's one of the major proponents of the testing. He's the one that is going to, he already selected the artifacts. He's been in contact with the people that have the artifacts. And so he's a major player on this game.
Wow, that's amazing.
And he did the crossing on the Phoenicia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was one of the crew members. That was cool.
Very cool. Well, guys, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Lots to go
invitation.
into. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very
Do you guys
very much.
have anything that you've got coming up you want to plug here for people to be aware of?
Sure. I can plug the end of year episode from the Universe Unveiled. That is our sister podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to come out tomorrow, I think. And the institute that is now on full-fledged. So we passed all the protocols, all the procedures. We are now going to launch at 1,000%. Are going to make a big public announcement of all of our projects, everything we have going on. Probably on the 17th. I can't remember if on the 7th, 17th, because we're finaling some things on the website.
Okay.
Everything has to be there. But I think people will find very interesting all the projects that we have going on at this
And
point.
just so people know that the one is on the channel Universe Unveiled tomorrow.
Exactly.
The video you're releasing
Yeah.
tomorrow. YouTube Universe Unveiled. And then you have your channel, the Institute Natural
Philosophy.
for-
Yeah.
Yeah, natural philosophy.
And now we're doing the shaman and the philosopher too, where Jeff has been too, and we talk about this kind of stuff. We have
busy
Rick
guy.
Osmond. Yeah, we have Rick Osmond that is one of the most knowledgeable peoples about the history of America. He's talking to us I think it's every Thursday. We put it every Thursday on. We're debating all of this, not copper directly, but all of these topics that show the ancient civilization of the Americas. So we're trying to do what we can to show people that the Americas were not an uncivilized, butt flap people when the Europeans arrived.
Well, we have most of your information in the description there. We have all of your information. And then Sammy just dropped in chat the channel link for Universe Unveiled in
Thank you.
chat.
Thank you very much.
So you guys can go check that out. Jeff, what do you got going on?
Yeah, so I
Jeff,
also
we got
started
going.
to. Yeah, I got.
That?
What I got going.
What you got going on? I'm excited.
Yeah, what you got?
Tell us.
What I got going. No, so yeah, I started doing weekly live streams on my channel as well, just because I didn't want to. I mean, I love doing the copper stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I also want to branch out, kind of the same way as everyone else is, because I'm just love history and ancient history in general. So I got that. I was gonna do one this week, but I didn't realize it was New Year's Day,
Yeah.
and I gotta work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so I don't think I have the energy to do a live stream, but we'll see. But I do believe my first guest coming on in the new year is gonna be Shaman Jason.
Oh,
Shaman
nice.
Evans. So I gotta confirm a date with him yet, but so he's gonna be the first guest I have on in the new year, and I'm working on a few different videos right now, tossing ideas around. But I think I'm gonna do something has to do with our Egypt trip. That's my first one coming
Nice.
out. Yeah, like my little perspective of it. So
And thank you. I know that Jason Shaman was very well received by you and everybody at the conference. So thank you very much for that.
oh no, everyone at the conference was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I couldn't possibly say enough things about him. I mean, he wasn't even asked, and he stepped up and helped out where things were needed, and was
Oh,
amazing.
he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible guy. Well, good. So yeah, if you guys in chat, if you need any information, you want us to know how to find Jeff or Ricardo, go, it's in the description. We're going to get the conference in October for the Michigan Copper Mining Conference. Is that
Yeah.
what
AAPS.
AAPS?
Copper
But just so you
Conference.
know what AAPS is they'll be going over everything that we talked about.
Ancient Artifact Preservation Society.
Yep.
Perfect.
The problem is there is a dentist association with the exact same symbol. So you have to put
Don't go to that conference.
No, you have to put AAPS copper.
Copper,
And,
yep.
and it will appear.
Well, I mean, you can go to that conference. You just
You can.
still go to the other conference, right? We're going to drop that in the description so people can go. I really want to, I know that's a long ways out, but I really want to encourage people to go check that out, especially if you're in the area. I'm definitely putting that on my calendar. It's something that I want to do. So we'll see if I can hopefully meet you guys both there. And then
I
it'd
hope
be
so.
great to see you guys in
Yeah.
Austin too. Like I think the week after, 2 weeks
I
after
know.
that would be amazing. Thank you guys both for coming on. Really, it's been
Thank you very much
a
for the
blast.
invitation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
thank you. No,
Awesome.
Thank you very
See you
much.
guys again.
All right, guys, so take care.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
exactly. I don't know what else to say. Honestly, that blew my mind.
I'm gonna have to like read his paper to just really absorb everything that
100%.
was just talked about, because yeah, it's a lot. And
That's
just so new to my brain.
yeah. So how's your brain taking in all that information? You just sat through a 2.5 hour deep dive into copper mining.
Yeah.
So you were totally unfamiliar with this beforehand?
I mean, I had like, obviously through Jeff, like I know that that's something that as a topic, I knew that it was something that existed with just knowing Jeff. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know any of the details or why it was significant or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I think anything historically about like seafaring people and like that's just such a fun topic.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never understood the push again, that it would have been hard for people to cross the Atlantic Ocean when they were building pyramids. Just
Yeah, that didn't really like. So I'm not the best at retaining information, but one of the things that really stood out in my brain when I was taking college courses on history, I took one of my archaeology-esque classes was Pacific Northwest, about the history of Pacific Northwest, and just with the Bering Land Bridge or the ice-free corridor, and then they had to basically reformat it to being, oh, well, it's the Kelp Highway, and that they must have walked because there's no way they had boats.
yeah.
But
Why
then
is that?
I remember my teacher saying, but then they found artifacts from the most southern tip of Argentina, being 18,000 years old. And basically my professor being like, well, they kind of had to have boats or something to get down there before even the kelp free or the Kelp Highway was even supposed to have been a thing. So that was all, like, in the couple classes I took, I remember that being one of the things in my brain that just didn't make sense. Like, why are they so reluctant to think that boats weren't a thing?
It's almost like if you could talk to a history teacher or certain professions like archaeologists and stuff in private and off the record, where it never comes back to them, they'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, common sense. There's
Right.
boats, and they were sailing all around the world and trading information and trading goods and supplies and stuff. I mean, it just makes sense. So, but they can't do that because our system of education is so based on test taking and everything else, right? That you have to teach the curriculum, and you have to make sure that the kids and your students and different people and whatever, and the college kids, they understand this information in the past, that which is tied into your, reflecting on your ability to be a professor or whatever. What a mess.
I know. I remember him even being like, this is the commonly accepted thing right now. But like, we'll see. We'll give it a couple years. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, I think that it sucks that, like, these louder voices have kind of claimed the archeo, like, persona. But I think just if you were to, like you said, talk to any average normal professor who is probably just a normal open-minded person that's like, this is what we know right now, but give it a couple years and we'll see how things change. I think that's probably more of the general consensus, which
I think so too. Well, what a good show. We had a lot of love tonight for Kay, so thank you guys.
Thank you guys. We're gonna pass it on to her. I know she'll really appreciate all the love, and excited to have her back.
What do we gotta tell people a couple things. We want to remind people next week we're at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, not 7, so we're changing. We'll get back an hour, and so don't forget that we'll be at 6 p.m. next week. And we've got, who do we got next week?
I have it right here.
Sam. Yeah, I think it's Sam.
Yes.
So we got Illegitimate Scholar next week. He's been doing some great work into research on the Göbekli Tepe site and the handling of the site. So that's kind of like a nice little segue from this week into next week. And then after that, I am so excited for this one. Where? How do I get back? I'm on Notion, Sammy, and I'm
the left arrow at the top left.
Greg Little. Yeah, we'll be going into a bunch of different stuff with Greg Little. I am so excited to have him join us. That's going to be really exciting. And after that, we have Cassie Coppersmith from Secrets in Stone, who her channel, if you're not familiar with, you need to go check out, is blowing up right now. She's doing amazing work. I noticed her. She did some collab with Derek Olson over at Megalithic Marvels and Stargate Voyager, and saw her videos when I don't even think she had 1,000 followers, and I was just like, dude, she's gonna blow up. She's gonna blow up. And I had a chance to meet her here in Austin, grab a coffee, and get to know her a little bit. She's a total badass. So I'm really excited to have her on and have her go over some stuff. Especially, she's been dropping some content on a recent trip to Cambodia.
Oh, cool. Really cool. Yeah, I think you shared some of her stuff with me on Instagram, right?
So go check her out. Yeah, she's gonna be big. And she's already blown up. I think in the last year she's over 20K. She's gonna pass me up. She's gonna hit 100K. I guarantee you next year. She's putting out amazing stuff.
I don't know. We'll see about that with this Egypt video.
Yeah, we're doing.
We do a little Egypt video teaser.
You have a teaser?
I know. I'm just saying verbally. Our part 1 Egypt video is almost done.
I am so excited to be sharing that. Sammy, you sent me and I've already told you this, but you sent me that video and your edit, and I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. This is really what I've been trying to do with no skill and no talent for a while.
Blasphemy.
So all we needed was a dash of Sammy in the mix. And now look at what we're doing.
What we're doing. Yeah, the last edit, I was up till 2 a.m, just like Ian, my boyfriend's like, are you coming to bed soon? I'm like, God, I must finish. I like can't stop doing what I'm doing. But that's when I know something's really good, when I'm hyper fixated and I just like, the vision is just like so close to
You
being.
can't step away from that. So I was talking to somebody. It sounds like you're the same way, and maybe we've had this conversation. But I was talking to a couple buddies, Will and Raul, talking about that, how you try to keep a schedule, but if you're creative, sometimes you get these spurts of creativity and you have to capitalize on them. But we were asking each other, why is it always at night? Like, it'd be great to wake up at like in the morning, get my workout in
7 a.m.
eat breakfast and be like, I'm ready to go. But it's like, all my brain wants to do is not sit in front of the computer all day. But then it hits 8 o'clock and all of a sudden I've got this inspiration and I'm working till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. But I think you learn. Yeah. And I don't know if you tell me if you do this too, but if you get that spurt, you don't step away. You capitalize on it and use it, and you just catch up on sleep later is basically how that works.
Pretty much. I think that's partly why I was so tired this week. I think
I was gonna say, is that why like everybody in this space is always tired and underslept?
I don't even think I can rightfully say I'm underslept, because if I don't go to bed till 3, then I just sleep till 12.
That's why you don't answer the text message.
I text you guys back as soon as I wake up.
Yeah, we know. We know. We've talked about it.
Yeah. I've been sleepy. It's okay. I had my acupuncture appointment today. I'm feeling better.
Nice. Good. Okay. You needed a break. Sammy, you went hard. You did Egypt.
I went a little hard.
And then you did Egypt, went straight into going to Scottsdale, right?
We both did that.
And then you were out there.
Then you went home, and then I went to Tucson, and I went back to Phoenix, and then I went to LA, and then I came home.
You were gone for almost 2 months.
Felt like it.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 weeks.
I was like, peace. And by the way, also when we left Egypt, Sammy left a day before me from Egypt, and I got home before her with my luggage.
Oh, I have the book. It's
amazing. Oh my God.
It's right next to that light right there. So as I promised everyone that crowdfunded this book, I will be like turning it into a PDF or something. I was also thinking like I would have to look up like the legalities, especially with it being a book that's like over 100 years old. I don't know.
Tell everybody what you got.
Should I show?
Yeah.
Okay. One sec.
Yeah, grab it and show everyone. I think people will get a kick out of this. I want to share, but I'm going to let her share because it was a fun moment in Egypt. We were in Luxor. At a bookshop, we saw this bookshop and everybody just wanted to go in, so we did.
Yeah, we still got 85 people in here too.
Okay. We got almost 500 across platforms. Yeah.
Thieves.
It's just.
I immediately saw this and I just like meow. I like zeroed in on it, and I don't know. It just was like way too perfect with all the work that you've been doing. There's, exposing the reconstruction at sites. There's all of these photos of Egypt, all the sites that we went to, Karnak, and the pyramids. This is Karnak. Basically photos from the 1800s before these sites were reconstructed. So we had to get it. But then my luggage almost got lost. Thankfully, it did not. But yeah, I was thinking like it would be cool to just kind of start like if I can just start like a Twitter thread and take photos of the pages, and just so if you want to read it, you could just like go to this Twitter thread or something. And it did fit in my luggage, Craig. Yes. It was perfect. It was a perfect size. But
tell everybody how you got it.
yeah, I basically was like, hey, if it was $170, so I was like, if everyone pitches in, $5-10, we can get the book, and I will take photos and share it and turn it into a PDF so we can all have access to this, because I don't know, I think having access to really old books is super important, because information, obviously, as much as information on the internet is so limitless, it is also so limited to a point, in history. So yeah, I think Dre's was the biggest contributor.
He hooked it up.
So he hooked
And
it
that
up.
lady wouldn't budge on the price either.
No, I tried to haggle.
She would not budge. She knew that she was going to get that money out of the group.
Yeah, I know, because yeah, Jeff found a version of it online that was much more expensive than 170. So we're like, oh, this is a great deal. She's standing right there. And then I was trying to haggle her. She's like, what the hell are you doing? What's going on? You think I'm dumb?
It was a good moment. It was fun. The whole tour group.
It was really
pulled
fun.
Together and got that book, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, what's really cool too, when I started to look at some of these photos, because in the back there's all of the photos are cited for who took them, and a bunch of them are taken by Queen Elizabeth of.
Really?
Not like the most recent one.
I mean, she was like 200 years old when she died, right?
I mean, with that royal blood transfusions. I don't remember.
Well, you definitely got to put that on. You should do.
I'll be researching it. I'll be sharing what I've
best of on Twitter and drop that. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So either a PDF or a Twitter feed will be coming from that.
Well, thank you for filling in for Kate tonight on screen.
Yeah, anytime.
I thought it went great, and what a crowd we had. It was good.
It's good multitasking, doing the chat and.
Should we feed the ducks or feed the geese?
I don't know if we should phrase it like that.
I don't know if I should be saying that, but
we still don't know what it means. But yes, let's do our outro song.
It's the ducks, feeding the ducks. Okay.
Or we could go with night driving. I also like the night driving one.
Yeah, let's night drive our way out of here.
Okay.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you guys so much. What a great episode. Man, really good. This is
a good 3-hour episode.
I'm reinvigorated around the copper mining topics and stuff. And that's on my list of we got a list of our big videos that we're doing over the course of the next year. And it's one of them. So we'll see. Because I don't want to, I want to make sure what these guys are doing over 2026 and
give it some time to develop. And then
all right, well,
all right, thanks, chat.
Thank you so much.
See you next week, 6 o'clock Central Time.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.